Chapter 2687. Is this all you've got? You've disappointed me. On the fighting stage, Lu Ming shook his head and looked at Dong Fang Hao with disdain. Lad, don't think that you can be so arrogant after blocking 2 of my attacks. I'll kill you with my next attack. Dong Fang Hao roared, and his killing intent was as sharp as a blade. With his rank 9 Empty God Realm cultivation, he was an expert on the Empty God list. Even after using his divine skill, he was still unable to kill Lu Ming, a rank 4 Empty God Realm existence. In his opinion, it was a great humiliation. Kill! Dong Fang Hao roared and raised his blade with both hands. Divine force exploded and rays of blade radiance appeared above Dong Fang Hao's head. In the end, 9 rays of blade radiance appeared, and each of them exuded a terrifying aura. Dong Fang Hao had activated his divine skill to the maximum. Void 9 slashes to destroy gods. Dong Fang Hao roared, and the 9 rays of blade radiance exuded a terrifying aura. With the power to destroy gods, they slashed towards Lu Ming. Before the blade radiance arrived, the terrifying blade energy had already swept towards Lu Ming and was about to tear Lu Ming apart. Lu Ming squinted his eyes. At this moment, Lu Ming had activated his sovereign divine force to the maximum. At the same time, Lu Ming had activated the battle character manual to double his combat strength. Lu Ming's body was filled with powerful energy, and he swept out his spear once again. This time, Lu Ming did not use his divine skill but the incomplete divine skill. Boom, boom, boom. The 9 rays of blade radiance formed by Dong Fang Hao slashed towards Lu Ming one after another. Each ray of blade radiance was stronger than the previous one. Every time the blade radiance clashed with Lu Ming's long spear, there would be a terrifying explosion. Everyone's heart was in their throats as they stared at the scene without blinking. They wanted to know if Lu Ming would be killed by Dong Fang Hao in one slash. I hope Dong Fang Hao can kill that lad. Those who had bet on Dong Fang Hao were praying in their hearts that Lu Ming would be killed by Dong Fang Hao. Unfortunately, they were destined to be disappointed. After the 9 explosions, Lu Ming stood there motionless. There was nothing wrong with him, not even a wound. On the other hand, Dong Fang Hao was gasping for breath. Although a rank 9 empty god could use a divine skill, it would consume a large amount of divine power. Dong Fang Hao unleashing his full power just now consumed a lot of divine power. What? He's still alive. Why isn't that Lu Ming dead yet? Many people were shocked, and they found it hard to believe that a level 4 empty god realm martial artist could still stand under Dong Fang Hao's full force attack. How was this possible? Damn it! Why isn't this kid dead yet? Around the battle platform, many people were roaring in anger, including the deacon Yu Zhong and the other deacons. Each of them had bet a large amount of divine crystals, especially Lu Zhong. He had bet a total of 20 million divine crystals. How he wished that Lu Ming would be killed. What powerful strength! As expected of the person with the gold token. The eyes of the 3 elders of the disciplinary hall were filled with astonishment. Previously, they had guessed that Lu Ming might be a disciple of some big shot in the Kongxian school. At this moment, they felt that it was highly possible. Otherwise, how could he be so powerful? They secretly rejoiced. It seemed that they had made the right choice in helping Lu Ming this time. Dong Fang Hao, is this all you've got? You've disappointed me. Now it's my turn. Lu Ming said coldly. He took a step forward and charged towards Dong Fang Hao. His long spear was like a mountain, pressing down on Dong Fang Hao. Dong Fang Hao used his remaining divine power to block the attack. However, after this collision, Dong Fang Hao was pushed back. His face was pale and his body was trembling. Just now, he had unleashed his divine skill with all his might, and it had consumed too much of his divine power. At this moment, he could no longer block Lu Ming's attack. Kill! Lu Ming shouted. His long spear continued to attack, and Dong Fang Hao was shrouded in spear shadows. Dong Fang Hao rushed left and right, but it was useless. He was completely suppressed by Lu Ming. Bang! With a moment of carelessness, he was swept by Lu Ming's spear light. More than 10 layers of force exploded and bombarded Dong Fang Hao's body. Dong Fang Hao screamed as his body flew out and vomited blood. There was a big hole in his chest and his breath was weak. Don't kill me, Dong Fanghao screamed and his face was filled with horror. Kill. Lu Ming said coldly and stepped forward. His murderous intent was incomparably cold. Senior brother Huang Wen, save me, save me. Dong Fanghao screamed in a heart-wrenching manner. If this continued, he would really die. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Before the battle, he had never dreamt that this would be the outcome. In his mind, he could easily kill Lu Ming and he would never be in any danger. If he knew that Lu Ming was so terrifying, he would never have issued a life-and-death duel. Lu Ming, that's enough. Huang Wen shouted with a gloomy face. That's right. We're all brothers from the same sect. It's enough to determine the winner. Why do you have to kill each other? Lu Zhong also spoke. Ridiculous. You guys don't know that this is a life-and-death duel. Dong Fanghao and I have signed a life-and-death duel. Between the two of us, only one can leave the stage. Lu Ming laughed. You should be lenient when possible. Lu Zhong said coldly. Lenient your ass. Lu Ming cursed and directly rushed towards Dong Fanghao. His spear was like lightning as it pierced towards Dong Fanghao. Dong Fanghao let out a hysterical scream and frantically tried to dodge. However, it was useless. The spear directly pierced through Dong Fanghao's head. Dong Fanghao's head burst open like a watermelon. Dong Fanghao had fallen. Dead. Dong Fanghao is dead. Many people's faces were pale as cold sweat flowed down their backs. They had bet a lot of divine skills on Dong Fanghao's victory. Some people even bet their entire fortune. But now Dong Fanghao was dead. My divine crystals. Some people screamed in pain and couldn't wait to beat their chest and stomp their feet. As for those who did not bet in time, they rejoiced. They were secretly angry that they were late and lost a chance to pick up the money. Now they realized how lucky they were. Damn it. Lu Zhong and a few other deacons' faces were as black as charcoal. How could this be? Huang Wen, Huang Wu, and the others below the fighting stage were pale. Dong Fanghao was dead? They found it hard to believe. A disciple who had just joined the sect for a few years had killed Dong Fanghao, who was on the empty god list. On the fighting stage, Lu Ming's long spear shook, shaking off the blood stains on it. He then reached out his hand and sucked Dong Fanghao's storage ring into his hand. This was his spoils of war. 3 elders, now that I've killed Dong Fanghao, I've won. Those divine crystals are all mine. Lu Ming looked at the 3 elders of the law enforcement hall. That's right, you've won. These storage rings are for you. An elder of the law enforcement hall suppressed the shock in his heart and threw the storage rings to Lu Ming. Lu Ming caught them with a fiery look in his eyes. Chapter 2688. This time, he had made a killing. He had won a total of 200 million pieces of low-grade divine gems. If they were exchanged for sect points, it would be 20,000 points. Cultivating in the divine vein tower for a day was worth 1 point. 20,000 points was enough for Lu Ming to cultivate in the divine vein tower for 50 years. Previously, Lu Ming had only cultivated in the divine vein tower for 3 months and his cultivation level had risen from level 3 empty god realm to level 4 empty god realm. The effect was shocking. The higher one's cultivation level was, the harder it was to make a breakthrough. Naturally, it would take more time. However, if he had cultivated in the divine vein tower for 50 years, Lu Ming's cultivation level would have increased tremendously. Many people's hearts were bleeding when they saw Lu Ming keeping the storage ring. Those were their divine gems. My 10 million divine gems. An outer deacon's face twitched as his heart bled. Although they were all high-level true god existences, tens of millions of low-grade divine crystals was also a considerable amount of wealth. Humph, it's not that easy to take away my divine gems. Lu Zhong snorted and sent a message to Lu Ming. Lad, come to my mansion and return the 20 million divine gems to me. You have insulted me just now and you must be punished. Take out another 50 million divine gems as compensation and I will let bygones be bygones. His voice rang in Lu Ming's ears. It was a threat, a blatant threat. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled up slightly. He looked at Lu Zhong and his voice reverberated throughout the entire place. Deacon Lu Zhong, you're already so old. Don't you understand that you have to accept your loss? Given your status as a deacon, you actually sent me a voice transmission to threaten me to return 20 million divine gems to you. In addition, you also threatened me to compensate you with another 50 million divine gems. Lu Ming did not try to hide his words. Everyone had heard what he had said. Everyone looked at Lu Zhong in unison. Some of them looked at him with disdain. After losing the divine gems, Lu Zhong had secretly threatened Lu Ming. He was despicable. Damned bastard, damned. The people in the entertainment center were roaring furiously. They were so angry that they were about to burn. He did not expect Lu Ming to be so bold as to directly say his threat, causing him to lose face. Kid, you're playing with fire. You're courting death. Lu Zhong transmitted his voice to Lu Ming. Look, he's here again. He's threatening me again, saying that he's going to kill me. Lu Ming let out a strange cry. Then he cupped his fists towards the 3 law enforcement elders and said, 3 elders, a deacon is threatening this disciple in public. This disciple is truly in fear and trepidation. Lu Zhong, one of the law enforcement elders, glanced coldly at Lu Zhong. Lu Zhong shuddered and hurriedly cried out, Elder, there's no such thing. This brat is framing me. You better not. The law enforcement elder snorted coldly. Lu Zhong's face darkened and he did not dare to say another word. Lu Ming, you're too greedy. There are so many divine gems. Are you really going to swallow them all? I've bet all my money. Can you return some to me? At that moment, a young man shouted. That's right. Return some to me. Then the rest of the people shouted. Even a few supreme talents on the empty god list spoke out. They had bet a lot and had suffered heavy losses. Return? Ridiculous. If you're not greedy, would you have lost to me? Lu Ming sneered. Return? How is that possible? These people had been hoping for his death. Why would he return the divine gems to them now? Lu Ming, you should know when to stop. I'm only asking you to return a portion of the divine gems, not all of it. You've made a fortune. We're all brothers and it'll be easier for you to get along in the future. Otherwise, you've offended so many people. Even if you have so many divine gems, it'll be difficult for you to spend them. A young man in a yellow robe said coldly. He was one of the supreme talents on the empty god list and was from the Tianhong faction. Although he did not make it clear, everyone could tell that he was threatening Su Amo. What he meant was that Lu Ming would offend too many people if he swallowed all the divine gems. He was afraid that he would not be able to spend them even if he was alive. This time, the 3 elders of the law enforcement hall did not say anything. They also felt that Lu Ming would not benefit from offending so many people at once. Even though Lu Ming had an extraordinary background, the people present were all under the saints' factions. If he offended all of them, he would have a hard time in the future. Lu Ming sneered. These people were obviously heartbroken because they had lost the bet and wanted a portion of the divine gems back. How could they do that? All right, if you want a portion of the divine gems back, sure. Lu Ming's voice made many people's eyes light up. As long as you are an outer disciple, I will give you a chance. Come up and fight with me. If you defeat me, I will return all the divine gems. However, if you are defeated by me, you have to leave something behind. Lu Ming continued. What? Most of the outer disciples were immediately dejected. Defeat Lu Ming? What a joke. Even Dongfang Hao, who was on the empty god list, had been killed by Lu Ming. How could they be a match for Lu Ming? Wouldn't they be looking for trouble if they went up? However, some people's eyes lit up. They were the supreme talents on the empty god list. In this battle, victory or defeat is the only thing that matters. I don't care if you live or die. Whoever comes up and fights me, if you win, I'll give you double the amount of divine crystals. If you lose, you have to leave behind a treasure. For example, a king-grade divine art, a divine skill above the 3rd level, a medium-grade divine artifact, or the corresponding divine crystals. Lu Ming said again, double the divine gems. Remember what you said. The young man in the yellow robe said loudly, now that there are so many witnesses, I will keep my word. Lu Ming said. All right, I challenge you now. The young man in the yellow robe moved and rushed into the fighting ring. Huang Chengan is going to fight. Many people's eyes lit up. Huang Chengan, who was ranked 98th on the empty god list, was more than 20 ranks higher than Dongfang Hao. His combat strength was also stronger than Dongfang Hao's. What treasure will you use to fight me? Lu Ming asked. A royal grade cultivation skill. Huang Chengan waved his hand and a yellow scroll appeared in his hand. A royal grade cultivation skill. Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He cultivated the universe myriad Dao art. As long as he cultivated other divine arts, as long as he cultivated a corresponding strand of divine power, he would be able to ignite the corresponding divine flame. In the future, as long as he continued to cultivate the universe myriad Dao art, that kind of divine power would also increase. Lu Ming had wanted to cultivate it for a long time, but he did not have any other divine skills. Originally, he had wanted to go to the depository of scriptures in the inner area to exchange for a divine skill. Alright, where is your receipt? Let me see how many divine gems you have bet. Lu Ming said. Then, Huang Chengan took out the receipt. It was a total of 5 million divine gems. For an empty god, 5 million divine gems was a terrifying number. It was no wonder that Huang Chengan was so anxious. Chapter 2689. Alright, as long as you can defeat me, I will return you 10 million. Now, let's hand over the divine crystals to the enforcement elder. Lu Ming took out a storage ring and placed 10 million divine crystals into it before handing it over to one of the enforcement elders. Huang Chengan handed the king-grade divine skill to the law enforcement elder. Then, the two of them returned to the fighting stage. Boom! A powerful aura erupted from Huang Chengan's body as his divine force surged, pushing it to the limit. Although you've defeated Dongfang Hao, you're still a little lacking if you want to defeat me. Huang Chengan said indifferently, brimming with confidence. Just now, he had seen the battle between Lu Ming and Dongfang Hao. Lu Ming was only slightly stronger than Dongfang Hao, and he might not even be stronger than Dongfang Hao. The reason why Dongfang Hao was killed was because Dongfang Hao had exhausted his divine force. That was why he was killed by Lu Ming. Huang Chengan's battle strength was stronger than Dongfang Hao's by a large margin. He was confident that he could defeat Lu Ming. You're very confident. I hope you have the strength to back it up. Lu Ming said indifferently. You'll see soon enough. Huang Chengan said coldly as a long spear appeared in his hand. Huang Chengan was also proficient in using long spears. Tsukuyami Ghost Spear. With a long whistle, Huang Chengan made his move, thrusting out his spear. In an instant, ghostly shadows appeared on the battle stage, and countless howls rang out. Swoosh! All of a sudden, a black spear shadow pierced towards Lu Ming, as fast as lightning. Huang Chengan had used his strongest divine skill the moment he made his move. Lu Ming's long spear vibrated as he circulated his divine force, thrusting out his spear. Ding! A sharp collision sound rang out as Lu Ming defeated Huang Chengan's spear shadow. However, at this time, a strange energy invaded Lu Ming's body, appearing in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness in the blink of an eye. It turned into several ghostly shadows, trying to tear apart Lu Ming's soul. Huang Chengan's attack could actually directly attack the soul. It was very strange. However, Lu Ming circulated his sovereign lord's god force, causing the ghostly figures to dissipate. Even so, Lu Ming was forced back several steps. On the surface, it looked like Lu Ming was at a disadvantage. Lu Ming is no match for him. He's been pushed back. As expected, he is no match for Huang Chengan. It's already a miracle that he could defeat Dongfang Hao. After all, Dongfang Hao is ranked last on the virtual god list and his ranking is not stable. He can't be compared to Huang Chengan. That's right, Lu Ming is about to lose. Unfortunately, this is not a life and death battle. Without signing a life and death battle agreement, Huang Chengan has no way of killing Lu Ming. Some people immediately started discussing. Those who had lost their divine crystals wished that Lu Ming would be defeated. Although they wouldn't be able to get their divine crystals back, they would still feel a little better in their hearts. Lose? After Huang Chengan had pushed back Lu Ming, he continued to attack Lu Ming relentlessly. Petty tricks. Lu Ming sneered. This time, he had used his Sovereign Lord's God Force to guard his sea of consciousness. His opponent's attack could not penetrate his sea of consciousness. Lu Ming continued to attack with his spear, clashing with his opponent. In an instant, the two had exchanged more than 10 blows. The more Huang Chengan fought, the more shocked he became. Huang Chengan, with your strength, it seems like you won't be able to get your divine crystals back. Lu Ming sneered. Lu Ming, don't be too proud. Take my strongest move, Tsukuyami Ghostly Spear, Shattering Divine Ring. Huang Chengan roared furiously. Instantly, his strength skyrocketed once again. That is the second level of the divine skill. It's terrifying. No wonder he's ranked 98th on the virtual god list. He's only a level 9 empty god realm martial artist, but he has already cultivated the Tsukuyami Ghostly Spear to the second level. Many people exclaimed. Generally speaking, a level 9 empty god realm martial artist could comprehend and cultivate the divine skill. However, those who were not talented enough would find it difficult to cultivate it successfully. Only those who were talented could cultivate it successfully. However, they were usually stuck at the first level. Only those who had broken through to the true god realm could cultivate to the second level. For example, the Chaotic Galaxy's Yuan Luo Hall Master, Kong Ji, and the Walkabout Sect's Sect Master, Sidahuanen, were both level 4 true gods. They had cultivated for countless years and had only cultivated to the second level of the divine skill. Huang Chengan was only a level 9 empty god realm martial artist, but he had already cultivated to the second level of the divine skill. The long spear in Huang Chengan's hand vibrated and spun continuously. A black vortex appeared at the tip of the spear, emitting a terrifying tearing force. Huang Chengan roared and rushed towards Lu Ming. The black vortex also rushed towards Lu Ming, wanting to crush Lu Ming into pieces. The power of the second level of the divine skill is indeed amazing. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly. He knew that he would not be able to fend off the other party's move with the incomplete divine skill alone. Then, let's see the power of the 3 strokes of destruction. Lu Ming muttered and the spear suddenly changed. The first move of the 3 strokes of destruction, sky-piercing. A low voice came out from Lu Ming's mouth. Lu Ming's body merged with the long spear and a spear radiance shot out. It was breathtaking and looked as if it was going to break the void. Boom! Lu Ming's spear radiance rushed into the black vortex that Huang Chengan had created. Destroy! Huang Chengan roared. However, in the next moment, his face changed drastically. His eyeballs popped out and he looked horrified. Boom! Then, the black vortex that he had created rumbled continuously. In the end, it was pierced by a terrifying spear radiance and exploded. Huang Chengan screamed. His body flew backward like a kite with a broken string and fell heavily on the ground. He slid all the way to the edge of the fighting ring before he stopped. The scene was completely silent, not a single sound could be heard. Everyone looked at the scene in disbelief. Everyone saw that Huang Chengan was vomiting blood. His aura was extremely weak and there was a hole in his chest. Blood was flowing out. Defeated, Huang Chengan was defeated. Lu Ming had defeated Huang Chengan again. Wasn't his combat strength too terrifying? Yu Zhong, Huang Wen, and the others were shocked beyond words. Do you still want to fight? Lu Ming landed on the fighting ring and strode toward Huang Chengan. I give up, I give up, I give up. Huang Chengan shouted and rushed down the fighting ring. Lu Ming won this battle. These are your spoils of war. The few elders of the Tribunal Council were also shocked. They handed over 10 million divine gems and the royal grade super skill to Lu Ming. What Lu Ming used just now, was that a super skill? It must be a super skill and it's extremely powerful. He's only a level 4 empty god realm martial artist. How could he cultivate a super skill successfully? Isn't this too abnormal? It's insane. If he grows up, the Kongxian school will have another holy son. Many people were still unable to calm down and were immersed in shock. The 3 strokes of annihilation are indeed powerful. Lu Ming muttered. He realized that the 3 strokes of annihilation were more powerful than Huang Qing'an's Tsukuyami Ghost Spear. Just now, Lu Ming had only used the power of the first stroke to break his opponent's second stroke. Chapter 2690. The power of the 3 devastating strikes was indeed amazing. Just the first level had broken Huang Qing'an's second-level divine skill. However, this was also supported by the battle incantation. After cultivating the battle word essence, any divine skill or secret skill that he cast would be more powerful than others. In addition, the destructive 3 strikes was already very powerful. Hence, Lu Ming was able to break the other party's second strike with his first strike. Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand and stood in the fighting ring like an invincible god of war. For a moment, he was the center of attention. Is there anyone else who wants to fight? Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning as he looked around. As he spoke, Lu Ming took out a pile of divine gems and absorbed the energy in them to recover his divine power. Using divine skills consumed a lot of divine power. Although he had only used one move, Lu Ming had used up a lot of his divine power. After all, his cultivation level was still low. Those who were glanced at by Lu Ming changed their expressions and did not dare to look at Lu Ming. Even the supreme talents on the empty god list looked gloomy. Huang Qing'an was ranked 98th on the empty god list, which was far superior to Dongfang Hao. Moreover, he had cultivated divine skills to the second level. With his current combat strength, he might be ranked higher, but he had still been defeated by Lu Ming. Some of the people present were ranked higher than Huang Qing'an, but not by much. They were not confident that they would be able to defeat Lu Ming. For a moment, no one stepped up. Who else? Lu Ming asked again, his eyes shining brighter. I'll take you on. Just then a cold voice sounded. In the distance, a figure came like a whirlwind and landed on the fighting ring. It was a skinny young man with red skin. Obviously, he was not a human, but Lu Ming could not tell what race he was from. It's Scorpion Tiger, ranked 51st on the empty god list. Seeing the young man with red skin, many people were shocked. The Scorpion Tiger is about to attack. I wonder if Lu Ming dares to accept the challenge. The Scorpion Tiger's strength is far above Huang Qing'an's. I heard that the Scorpion Tiger once fought with a level 1 true god expert. Although he wasn't his match, he still managed to escape. I heard about it too. Many people started a heated discussion. The difference between the empty god realm and the true god realm was the difference of a large realm. The difference in strength was shocking. It was difficult for an empty god realm expert to fight with a true god realm expert. Not to mention fighting, it was difficult to even escape. This showed how strong the Scorpion Tiger was. Ranked 51st on the virtual god list? Lu Ming muttered as a powerful battle intent surged from his body. I'll bet a level 4 divine skill with you. If you lose, you have to give me 10 million divine gems. If I lose, the level 4 divine skill is yours. Scorpion Tiger took out a scroll and said, Sure. Lu Ming accepted the challenge. 4-level divine techniques could only be cultivated up to the 4th level. Lu Ming did not think much of it. The 9-level crimson gold armor and apocalyptic 3 strikes that he cultivated were both 9-level divine techniques and could be cultivated up to the 9th level. However, the market value of a level 4 divine skill was extremely high. If it was sold on the market, it could be sold for tens of millions of divine gems. Lu Ming naturally would not reject it. The two of them handed the divine gems and skill scrolls to each of the enforcement elders. Lu Ming actually accepted the challenge. He's really bold. Bold? I think he's just greedy. However, the Scorpion Tiger is far stronger than Huang Qing'an and Dongfang Hao. Lu Ming is definitely no match for him. Look at how confident Lu Ming is. Could it be that he still has a trump card? Let's just wait and see. This time, it was different from the previous time. Some people felt that Lu Ming was unfathomable and might have a trump card. They were not certain that Lu Ming would definitely lose. Boom, boom. On the fighting ring, the two people's auras erupted. The waves of divine power collided first. The Scorpion Tiger moved. Although he was skinny, his explosive power was astonishing. He rushed towards Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. A blood-red long sword appeared in his hand and he stabbed towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming only saw a blood-red sword light piercing towards him at an incredible speed. Retreat! Lu Ming took a step back and quickly retreated. His long spear swept towards the scorpion tiger. However, the scorpion tiger's sword momentum changed midway and he actually avoided Lu Ming's long spear. You want to use this move to stop me? It's useless. Chong Lu's swordsmanship. A cold voice came from the scorpion tiger's mouth. Then, streaks of sword light bloomed from the scorpion tiger's hand. They were densely packed and rushed towards Lu Ming. Each of the streaks of sword light was extremely fast. Level 2 Divine Skill. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The scorpion tiger's divine skill had also been cultivated to the second level. Moreover, it seemed that his mastery was higher than Huang Qing'an's. 3 strokes of destruction, sky-piercing. Lu Ming whispered. His divine power surged and he stabbed out with his spear. The dazzling spear light lit up again, like a star in the dark night, illuminating the night. The first style of the 3 strokes of destruction was displayed again. Wherever the spear light passed, the scorpion tiger's sword light would constantly shatter and explode. Just as the scorpion tiger was about to end up like Huang Qing'an, his body suddenly trembled and he moved a few hundred meters away, avoiding Lu Ming's attack. Speed Divine Skill. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The scorpion tiger had not only cultivated its attack-type divine skill to the second level, but it had also mastered a speed-type divine skill. Just now, it had used its speed-type divine skill to move horizontally and evade Lu Ming's attack. Amazing! The scorpion tiger has cultivated a speed divine skill. He is only an empty god, but he is so powerful. He is indeed powerful. No wonder he is ranked 51st on the empty god list. Many people exclaimed. A level 9 empty god realm martial artist could cultivate 1 divine skill to the first level. The scorpion tiger had cultivated several divine skills, which was indeed terrifying. Based on this point alone, he was far superior to Huang Qing'an. Lu Ming's ultimate move can't hit the scorpion tiger. He is probably going to lose. He is definitely going to lose. With his divine power, he will not be able to display much of the power of his ultimate move. He is going to lose. He is finally going to lose. Ha! Some people burst out laughing. Your attack is useless against me. Stand there and let me hit you. The scorpion tiger said coldly. Then he moved and rushed toward Lu Ming. His speed was several times faster than before. The scorpion tiger's body appeared on Lu Ming's left and on Lu Ming's right. Rays of sword radiance bloomed continuously, slashing toward Lu Ming's vital points. Lu Ming waved his long spear and tried his best to block the attack. Clang, clang. The two of them exchanged more than 10 blows, and Lu Ming kept retreating. Let's see how many blows you can take. The scorpion tiger's voice rang out, and his attacks became more intense and violent. All of a sudden, Lu Ming revealed a flaw. The scorpion tiger's eyes lit up. He became one with his sword and performed his strongest move. His entire body turned into a ray of red sword radiance, rushing past Lu Ming's flaw and attacking Lu Ming. Lu Ming could not avoid this move. Chapter 2691. Grasping Lu Ming's weakness, the scorpion tiger launched its most powerful attack. Lu Ming had nowhere to run and was about to be hit. You'll lose, the scorpion tiger said ferociously, as if it could already see 10 million divine gems waving at it. Lose? You'll lose. At this moment, Lu Ming's indifferent voice rang out. Then his body emitted a crimson light, and a crimson golden armor appeared on Lu Ming's body. It was the 9-layer crimson golden armor. Lu Ming had purposely exposed his weakness. Lu Ming did not cultivate any speed-type divine skill, so he could not keep up with the scorpion tiger's speed with the incomplete wings rock skill. If he wanted to defeat the scorpion tiger, he would have to lure it closer. Therefore, he purposely exposed a weakness. The scorpion tiger was fooled and charged at Lu Ming. Clang! The scorpion tiger's sword hit the crimson golden armor, producing an ear-piercing sound and sparks. The crimson golden armor kept shaking, but it finally blocked the scorpion tiger's attack. I blocked it. Lu Ming was delighted. Lu Ming had only cultivated the 9-layer crimson golden armor to the first level. He was afraid that he would not be able to block the scorpion tiger's attack. However, he had obtained the 9-layer crimson golden armor from Jianghu's portrait. It was as mysterious as the 3 strikes of destruction. With the help of the sovereign's divine power, its defense was amazing and it successfully blocked the scorpion tiger's attack. How can this be? The scorpion tiger was shocked when it failed to break through Lu Ming's defense. It wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Lu Ming would not give it such a chance. Buzz! A long spear swept towards the scorpion tiger at a terrifying speed. Bang! The scorpion tiger was hit squarely. It screamed and flew out like a broken sack. It landed heavily on the fighting ring and slid a few thousand meters away. Its body was almost split in two. Blood flowed out. It was severely injured. Lu Ming moved and his long spear stopped in front of the scorpion tiger's forehead. "Don't kill me!" The scorpion tiger roared and broke out in cold sweat. Only after shouting did he realize that they were not fighting to the death. Lu Ming could not kill him. "You lost," Lu Ming said indifferently. With a shake of his spear, a burst of energy gushed out and sent the scorpion tiger flying out of the arena. The scene was in an uproar. The scorpion tiger was defeated. A supreme talent who was ranked 51st on the virtual god list had been defeated by Lu Ming, a disciple who had just entered the school. This was extremely rare in the history of Kongshen School. Most importantly, Lu Ming's cultivation was only at level 4 empty god realm. This kind of battle prowess was too terrifying. A defensive divine skill, level 4 ethereal god realm. Not only did he cultivate an offensive divine skill, but he also cultivated a defensive divine skill. What kind of monstrous comprehension is that? Is he still a new disciple? His combat strength is too strong. Today, he has defeated 3 geniuses on the empty god list. From now on, Dongfang Hao will fall from the empty god list and Lu Ming will be ranked 51st on the empty god list. Many people looked at each other in dismay. A level 4 empty god realm martial artist was ranked 51st on the empty god list. This had never happened in Kongshen School. This, Lu Zhong, Huang Wen, and the rest were shocked speechless. Then, cold killing intent gushed out from their hearts. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the greater the threat he posed to them and the more they had to get rid of him. The younger generation will surpass us in time. An enforcement elder laughed and handed over 10 million divine gems and the divine skill to Lu Ming. Lu Ming had earned another huge sum of money. Many people were green with envy. Who else wants to fight me? After putting away the spoils of war, Lu Ming scanned the surroundings. The arena quieted down and no one spoke. The geniuses on the empty god list shut their mouths. What a joke! Even Scorpion Tiger had been defeated. If they went up, they would also be defeated. Lu Ming asked a few more times but no one came up. This was because no one in the top 50 of the empty god list was present. These people were either out for training, missions, or cultivating in seclusion. Even if some of them knew that Lu Ming and Dongfang Hao were going to fight to the death, they would not come to watch. Dongfang Hao, a new disciple, was not enough to arouse their curiosity. Therefore, no one dared to fight. Since no one wants to fight, let's call it a day. Lu Ming waved his hand and kept the long spear. He then thanked the 3 enforcement elders and turned into a beam of light and left. He left behind a group of people gnashing their teeth. Lu Ming did not return to his residence. Instead, he flew directly to the inner sect area. It was no longer safe to stay in the outer sect area. He would definitely be targeted. Hence, Lu Ming might as well come to the inner sect area. Arriving at the inner area, Lu Ming took out 10 million divine gems and exchanged them for 10,000 points. He then entered the Spirit Vein Tower. In the Spirit Vein Tower, Lu Ming sat cross-legged and absorbed the divine qi in the outer area to recover his divine power. The divine power here was very rich. Soon, Lu Ming recovered to his peak state. After recovering to his peak state, Lu Ming moved his hand and a scroll appeared. This scroll was the royal grade divine skill that Lu Ming had obtained from Huang Qinggong. Lu Ming opened it and read, Ice Divine Skill. He opened it and saw the name of the divine skill. Lu Ming read it carefully. This was an ordinary royal grade divine skill. There were a total of 7 levels. When one cultivated to the 7th level, they would be able to cultivate the Ice Divine Skill. The Ice Divine Skill was considered ordinary among the royal grade divine skills. However, Lu Ming did not care. As long as it was royal grade divine skill, it was useful to Lu Ming. Lu Ming immediately studied it carefully. A few days later, Lu Ming began to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had stayed in the Spirit Vein Tower for half a month. For half a month, Lu Ming had been comprehending and cultivating the Han Ice Divine Formula. After half a month of cultivation, Lu Ming finally cultivated a trace of Ice Divine Skill. The trace of Ice Divine Skill mixed with the Sovereign's divine power and flowed through his meridians. Success! Lu Ming was overjoyed. He immediately gave up on circulating the Ice Divine Skill and began circulating the Heaven and Earth 10,000 Dao technique. That wisp of ice divine power instantly merged with the power of the ruler, becoming one. A few days later, in Lu Ming's Dantian, near the divine fire, a light suddenly lit up. As time passed, the light became brighter and more resplendent. Slowly, it turned into a wisp of divine fire. Another divine fire appeared. This was the second divine fire. If others knew that a person had 2 divine fires in his Dantian, they would be scared to death. In the desolate era's cultivation knowledge, a person could only ignite 1 divine fire. It was impossible to ignite a second divine fire. However, Lu Ming had done it. He really ignited a second divine fire. This Universe Myriad Dao technique is really amazing. Lu Ming exclaimed inwardly. Jianghu had obtained the Universe Myriad Dao art from a ruin. Even he didn't know where it came from. Chapter 2692. Continue. Lu Ming closed his eyes and focused on cultivating. Right now, the Ice Divine Skill was no longer of much use to Lu Ming. He only needed to continue cultivating the Heaven and Earth 10,000 Dao technique, and that wisp of ice divine fire would gradually grow stronger. Time flew, and a year passed in the blink of an eye. In this year, Lu Ming focused on cultivating. The frigid ice divine flame had finally grown to the size of the sovereign divine flame. 2 divine flames burned in his Dantian, looking extremely mysterious. At this time, Lu Ming ended his cultivation. Swoosh! Lu Ming waved his hand and circulated his frigid ice divine force. A long spear condensed from ice appeared in his hand, exuding a bone-chilling aura. Now I don't have to worry about others discovering my sovereign divine force. Lu Ming laughed. Lu Ming could now use the frigid ice divine force alone. Although it wasn't as strong as the sovereign divine force, it was very useful to fool others. Moreover, when Lu Ming used the sovereign divine force, the frigid ice divine force would erupt together with the sovereign divine force. Lu Ming's sovereign divine force was 20% stronger than before. Don't underestimate 20%. 20% stronger was already shocking enough. One had to know that Lu Ming could continue to cultivate other types of sovereign divine forces. When the number of sovereign divine forces increased, their power would be shocking. Lu Ming was very satisfied with this result. Now that I've cultivated 2 types of sovereign divine force, it's not a good time to break through to the next realm. I should consolidate my cultivation before coming to the Divine Vein Tower to cultivate. Lu Ming pondered. 1 point was required to cultivate in the Divine Vein Tower for a day, which was equivalent to 10,000 sovereign divine crystals. Although Lu Ming was rich and had more than 200 million sovereign divine crystals, he didn't want to waste them. In the past year, he had spent close to 400 points, which was 4 million sovereign divine crystals. If it was in the past, Lu Ming wouldn't have been able to afford it. The scripture depository in the inner courtyard is said to have a large number of divine skills, divine arts, and even secret techniques. I can use points to exchange for them. Let's go take a look. Thinking of this, Lu Ming's eyes suddenly brightened. He planned to exchange for a few more divine techniques to cultivate. Sharpening a blade would not delay the work of chopping firewood. Even though it would take some time for him to cultivate the divine art, he would not waste that time. As long as Lu Ming could cultivate the divine flame and the power of the divine flame would increase as well. If Lu Ming waited until his cultivation base improved, and then cultivated other divine abilities and magics, it would take him a lot more time to refine his new god flame to the same level as the Sovereign Lord's god flame. His cultivation was still low at the moment, so he didn't have to spend much time on it. Once he succeeded in cultivating it, it would be best for him to raise his cultivation along with it. Lu Ming immediately walked out of the Divine Vein Tower and headed for the Scripture Depository Pavilion. Not long after, Lu Ming arrived at the Scripture Depository. The Hidden Scriptures Pavilion was a huge pavilion with 5 floors. It was extremely spacious. There were naturally people guarding the Scripture Depository Pavilion, and they were all terrifying experts. However, Lu Ming took out his golden token and was able to enter the Scripture Depository Pavilion without a hitch. So many! Lu Ming's eyes widened when he arrived on the first floor. What came into view were shelves after shelves. There were at least a few hundred of them, and every single one of them was filled with god skills. They were either in the form of jade talismans or scrolls. However, they were all protected by formations. They could only be taken out with the approval of the Scripture Depository Pavilion's guardian. There were introductions at the bottom of the shelves. Lu Ming looked through them one by one. They were all divine skills, but they were relatively low level. Most of them were between the 1st and 3rd tiered. Lu Ming didn't see anything above the 4th tiered. Next, Lu Ming went to the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor also had divine skills, but they were of a higher level. Most of them were at the 4th or 5th tiered. Lu Ming looked around. Other than divine skills, he didn't see any divine arts or secret arts. Lu Ming walked around and came to the 3rd floor. The number of divine skills on the 3rd floor was much lower. Most of them were at the 6th or 7th tiered. The value of these divine skills was shocking. Generally, only high-level True God Realm experts or Heavenly God Realm experts could cultivate and display their power. Similarly, there were no secret arts or divine arts on this floor. Lu Ming's goal wasn't divine skills. Shaking his head, Lu Ming went to the 4th floor. The collection on the 4th floor was even smaller. However, most of them were at the 7th or 8th tiered divine skills, and there were only a few dozen of them. Great Sun Divine Art. Suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He finally saw a divine art. This divine art was called the Great Sun Divine Art. It was also a king-grade divine art. Compared to the Frigid Ice Divine Art, it was more profound. The Great Sun Divine Art cultivated was stronger than the Frigid Ice Divine Art. Finally, there's a divine art. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He looked at the divine art one by one. Subsequently, he saw more than a dozen king-grade divine arts. All of them could cultivate king-grade divine force, and each of them had their own mysteries. However, the points required to exchange for each divine art were shockingly high. The lowest cost was 1,000 points, while the highest cost 5,000 points. 1,000 points was equivalent to 10 million divine crystals. For example, the Great Sun Divine Art required 3,000 points. The price is really high. Even if I use up all my divine crystals, I can only exchange for a few. Lu Ming sighed. After looking for a while, Lu Ming did not rush to make a move. Instead, he looked at the 5th floor. If the 4th floor had a king-grade divine art, then what kind of treasure would there be on the 5th floor? Would there be a saint-grade divine art? Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he stepped onto the 5th floor. 9-tiered divine arts and secret arts. There were even fewer divine arts on the 5th floor. There were only slightly more than 10 of them. Moreover, the points required to exchange for each step were shockingly high. 300,000 points. Even the cheapest 9-tiered divine art required 300,000 points, which was equivalent to 3 billion divine crystals. Even a heavenly god would find it difficult to take out so many divine crystals, let alone a true god. Lu Ming gasped. With so many points, he could only look at them. Then, Lu Ming looked at a few secret arts. Amazing, really amazing. Lu Ming exclaimed as he looked at them. His eyes were burning with passion. Secret arts were different from divine arts. Secret arts had various mysteries. Once successfully cultivated, they would accompany the cultivator for life, and they would improve as the cultivator's cultivation level increased. For example, there were some secret techniques that would allow one's battle prowess to increase exponentially after they were cultivated. This was similar to the battle character formula. However, the battle formula was even more mysterious. Some secret arts would have all kinds of strange effects after cultivation, and their power was even more shocking than divine arts. However, there were too few secret arts, and many of them had very strict cultivation requirements. Therefore, very few people succeeded in cultivating them. The fifth floor contained a few secret techniques, but there were very few introductions, only a few words. However, the price tag made Lu Ming gasp. Among them, the cheapest secret skill required 100,000 points to exchange for, while the most expensive secret skill required 2 million points to exchange for. Chapter 2693. Lu Ming was speechless. He had made a fortune and thought that he had become rich. Now, he realized that he was still poor. It's a pity that there aren't any divine skills. Lu Ming looked around but did not see any sacred-grade divine techniques. He shook his head with some pity. The divine skills were the divine skills of the Kongxian school, and only a few people were qualified to cultivate them. It was normal that there were no divine skills here. I'd better exchange for a few royal-grade divine skills to cultivate. Lu Ming thought to himself. He had the 9 layers of crimson gold armor and the 3 strokes of destruction. They were enough for the time being, and he did not need to exchange for anything else. As for the secret skills, although Lu Ming was eager to exchange for them, they were too expensive and he could not afford them. He had to give up. However, he did not have enough points with him. He needed to exchange for some points and then come back to exchange for the royal-grade divine skills. Lu Ming walked out of the scripture depository and came to the exchange point. He took out 150 million divine gems and exchanged them for 15,000 points. He then came back to the scripture depository. This golden dragon divine formula and this great sun divine formula. Lu Ming was interested in the 2 divine skills. The golden dragon divine skill cost 5,000 points and the divine sun skill cost 3,000 points. Lu Ming decided to exchange for these 2 divine skills. Senior, I would like to exchange for a royal-grade divine skill. Lu Ming said to an old man at the entrance of the scripture depository. Exchange for a divine skill? The price of a royal-grade divine skill is not cheap. Which one would you like to exchange for? The old man looked curiously inside the scripture depository. Lu Ming's cultivation level was obvious to him. He could tell that Lu Ming was a level 4 empty god realm martial artist. How could a level 4 empty god realm martial artist have so many points to exchange for a royal-grade divine skill? Senior, I would like to exchange for the golden dragon divine skill and the divine sun skill. Lu Ming nodded. What? You want to exchange for 2? The old man was truly shocked. Then, he said with a straight face, little guy, you only need to practice 1 king-grade divine art. It's useless to exchange for 2. Junior knows that I didn't exchange for it for my own cultivation. One of them was for someone else. Lu Ming said. Of course, he couldn't say that he had cultivated it himself. All right, since that's the case, this old man won't say anything more. These 2 techniques are worth a total of 8,000 points. The old man said. Senior, this is my identity token. Lu Ming handed his identity token to the old man. The old man took it and swiped it on an array disk, immediately earning 8,000 points. This little guy actually has so many points. The old man was slightly shocked as well, and then he said, wait for me here. I'll go get the 2 divine techniques. The old man stood up and entered the scripture depository. Soon, he came back with 2 scrolls and handed them to Lu Ming. They were the 2 divine techniques. Lu Ming was overjoyed as he kept them. He left the scripture depository and went straight to the Divine Vein Tower. After entering the Divine Vein Pagoda, Lu Ming devoted himself to the cultivation of the 2 divine skills. These two divine skills were indeed more mysterious than the Han Bing divine formula. The divine power that could be cultivated would also be a level higher. Of course, it was more difficult to cultivate. Lu Ming spent a few months to cultivate the two divine fires. However, the divine fires were dimmer and needed time to grow. Time flew by and Lu Ming stayed in the Divine Vein Tower for 5 years. In 5 years, Lu Ming had finally cultivated the two divine fires to the same size as the sovereign divine fires. Moreover, when the two divine fires were as big as the sovereign divine fires, Lu Ming had a breakthrough and his cultivation level rose to rank 5 Empty God Realm. My ability to challenge those who are of a higher rank than me is stronger than before. Lu Ming smiled. Now, when he used the sovereign divine force, the other divine forces would merge with it and the power would be even more shocking. I've cultivated for so long. Let's go out for a walk. Lu Ming smiled and ended his cultivation. He walked out of the Divine Vein Tower. After such a long time, Lu Ming's points had decreased by almost 2,000 points. Adding the points that he had used to exchange for the Royal Grade Divine Skill, Lu Ming was left with about 5,000 points. This is the inner district. I can ask around about UXN who the ancestor of techniques is looking for. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Back then, the ancestor of techniques had given him a dagger and asked him to bring it to UXN. In the past, Lu Ming was in the outer district and he could not find her. However, now that Lu Ming could enter and leave the inner district freely, he could look for her. Who should I ask? Lu Ming pondered. Suddenly, his eyes glittered as he thought of Yu Linglong. Lu Ming immediately took out his communication jade talisman and sent a message to Yu Linglong. To his surprise, Lu Ming received a reply not long after. Yu Linglong asked him to wait for her outside the Divine Vein Tower. She would be there soon. Soon, a ray of light flew in his direction and a figure landed in front of Lu Ming. Why did you take so long to contact me? Yu Linglong glanced at Lu Ming. I've been too busy cultivating. I forgot. Lu Ming smiled awkwardly. Why are you looking for me now? Yu Linglong blinked and asked. I want to ask you about someone. I don't know anyone in the inner district, so I'm here to ask you about it. Lu Ming said. I know you're looking for me. Tell me, who do you want to know? It can be said that there's nothing I don't know in the inner sect. You found the right person to ask me about it. Yu Linglong said proudly. I want to know if you know UXIN? Lu Ming asked. UXIN? Yu Linglong's eyes suddenly widened. She scrutinized Lu Ming and asked curiously, why are you looking for UXIN? Could it be that you are her illegitimate son? Towards the end, Yu Linglong's eyes lit up as if she had discovered something new. Lu Ming's forehead was full of black lines. What was this girl thinking about? Please don't make wild guesses. I'm here to look for UXIN. Yu Linglong said. Are you sure you're not her illegitimate son? Yu Linglong asked again as if she was not convinced. Lu Ming's eyelids twitched. After a while, he gritted his teeth and said, absolutely not. Oh, then why are you here to look for UXIN? Yu Linglong asked again. I'm here to bring something and a message. Lu Ming said. Is the person who asked you to look for UXIN's old lover? Yu Linglong blinked. The fire of gossip was burning fiercely. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. This girl was right. However, his expression did not change. He said, I don't know. You've asked so many questions. Do you know who UXIN is? Nonsense, of course I know. UXIN is my aunt. How can I not know? Yu Linglong pouted. Chapter 2694. Aunt. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. He did not expect that UXIN, who the ancestor of techniques was looking for, was Yu Linglong's aunt. That was too much of a coincidence. Is she really your aunt? Lu Ming asked again. He felt that the problem girl was not very reliable. Nonsense, of course she's my aunt. If you don't believe me, I'll bring you to see her now. Yu Linglong pouted and flew in a certain direction with a proud expression. Lu Ming hurriedly followed. In the inner area of Kongshan School, there were several incomparably huge mountain ranges intertwined with each other. There were countless strange peaks that were boundless. After flying for a while, Yu Linglong flew toward a mountain peak. The peak of the mountain was surrounded by clouds and flowers. It was a beautiful sight. From afar, they could see a bamboo forest. In front of the bamboo forest was a lake, and between the bamboo forest and the lake was a building. At that moment, in a pavilion by the lake, a woman was sprinkling some golden grains into the lake. Immediately, golden carps jumped out of the lake and fought for the grains. "Aunt!" Yu Linglong called out from afar. The woman turned around and revealed her true appearance. What a beautiful woman! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The woman looked to be in her 30s, but she still looked as beautiful as ever. She was a rare beauty. Is that you, Xian? A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind. It's you, girl. Why are you here today? The woman smiled and said, Auntie, I missed you, didn't I? I'm here to see you. Yu Linglong smiled and said, Do you think I don't know you, girl? Tell me, why are you here? The woman said. It was obvious that this woman was Yu Xin. Aunt, I'm really here to see you. I'm also here to do a small matter. Yu Linglong stuck out her tongue guiltily. Then she looked at Lu Ming and said, It's him. He said that he's looking for you. Looking for me? Yu Xin looked at Lu Ming curiously. Senior, are you Yu Xin? Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, That's right, I'm Yu Xin. Why are you looking for me? Yu Xin said, Senior, it's like this. I've been entrusted by someone to bring something to you. With that, Lu Ming took out the dagger that was given to him by the ancestor of techniques. This is... At the sight of the dagger that Lu Ming took out, Yu Xion's delicate body trembled. Her gaze was extremely complicated and she seemed to be reminiscing. After a long while, Yu Xian let out a long sigh and said, Is the person who gave you the dagger called Fa Ming? Lu Ming nodded. What else did he say? Yu Xin asked again. He said he. Lu Ming repeated the words of the ancestor of techniques. Yu Xion's figure trembled even more. Her eyes were filled with tears. After a while, she let out a sigh and said, He didn't do anything wrong to me. I'm the one who did wrong to him. If you see him next time, tell him the same thing. I'll leave the dagger here. Go. In the end, Yu Xian took the dagger and waved her hand. She then headed to a house in a lonely manner. What's going on? Lu Ming felt that the situation was a little complicated. Lu Ming, what's going on? What's going on? It seems like I'm right. Aunt's old lover is the one who asked you to come. After Yu Xian left, Yu Linglong's eyes were burning with the flames of gossip. She stared at Lu Ming curiously. Let's go. We'll talk after we leave. Lu Ming said and headed outside. Yu Linglong followed closely behind and asked a bunch of questions. I finally know. Back then, grandfather asked Aunt to get married, but she didn't seem to be willing. She even caused quite a stir in the end. Yu Linglong said, Your aunt got married? Lu Ming was startled. Yeah, she caused quite a stir back then, but my grandfather suppressed it in the end. But I only heard about it because I wasn't even born back then. Yu Linglong said. No wonder. Lu Ming finally understood why Yu Xian said she was the one who did wrong to the ancestor of techniques. The ancestor of techniques had always missed Yu Xian, but Yu Xian was already married to someone else. Sigh. Lu Ming let out a sigh. He did not know how to tell the ancestor of techniques about it the next time he saw him. That was the reality. That was how helpless the reality was. Shaking his head, Lu Ming put the matter aside. He had already done what he promised the ancestor of techniques. As for the rest, he could not do anything about it. All right, I have something to ask you. Do you know how to cultivate the Kongxian school's holy grade divine technique? Lu Ming asked. You want to cultivate the holy grade divine technique? That's a bit difficult. First, you have to enter the true God realm and become an inner disciple. Then, you have to show your talent and go through a series of tests to prove that you're loyal to the Kongxian school and not a spy sent by other sections. Only then will they teach you. Yu Linglong said. So difficult? Lu Ming was speechless. It's that difficult. You have to know that the entire Kongxian school only has 2 holy grade divine techniques. As the treasure of the school, it's too difficult to learn the complete holy grade divine technique. At most, you can only learn an incomplete one. Yu Linglong said. An incomplete one? Where can I learn an incomplete one? Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He did not need a complete one to cultivate the other divine techniques. An incomplete one was fine too. He only needed to cultivate a strand of divine power. You can exchange it in the scripture pavilion. You just have to ask the elders guarding the scripture pavilion. However, the price is shockingly high. The holy grade divine technique is divided into 12 levels. The first level costs 50,000 points and the second level costs 100,000 points. The price keeps increasing. The key is that it's not very useful if you don't have a complete one. Yu Linglong said. I can exchange it. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He did not need a complete one at all. He only needed the first level. Once he cultivated the first level, he would be able to cultivate a strand of divine power and ignite the divine flame. That was enough for Lu Ming. However, he sighed immediately. The first level required 50,000 points. That price was ridiculously high. Even if he exchanged all the divine gems he had left for points, he would only have slightly more than 10,000 points. It was still far from enough. Kongxian School, where can I earn points? Lu Ming asked again. The place to earn points is, of course, the mission hall. The sect will release a series of missions. As long as you complete the missions, you will be able to earn points. However, I suggest that you don't accept any missions. It's not worth it, Yu Linglong said. But Lu Ming asked. Because there is a limit to the level of missions. You are now an outer disciple, so you can only accept the lowest level missions. Those missions are usually time-consuming and laborious. The rewards are also very low. Most of them only reward 1 or 2 points. The most you can get is 10 points. Yu Linglong said. Lu Ming was instantly speechless. Completing a mission only gave him 1 or 2 points. How long would it take him to earn 50,000 points? Chapter 2695. However, if you want to quickly earn points, there will soon be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yu Linglong suddenly smiled. What opportunity? Lu Ming asked. The Nether Dragon's secret realm will open in a few days. As long as you enter the Nether Dragon's secret realm and obtain some treasures, you will be able to exchange them for a large amount of points. Yu Linglong said. Nether Dragon's secret realm? Lu Ming was curious as this was the first time he had heard of it. That's right. The Nether Dragon's secret realm only opens once every 100,000 years. Moreover, only those below the true God realm can enter. Thus, it is a paradise for outer disciples. At that time, all the powerful outer disciples will be able to enter. In the Nether Dragon's secret realm, there are 2 main treasures. One is the Nether Dragon Beast and the other is the Dragon Bone Flower. As long as you obtain the beast core of the Nether Dragon Beast or the dragon bone of the Dragon Bone Flower, you will be able to exchange them for a large amount of points. In the past, 1 beast core or dragon bone of the Dragon Bone Flower could be exchanged for 100 points. Yu Linglong said. 100 points. Lu Ming was shocked. 100 points could be exchanged for 1 million divine gems. This price was extremely shocking. If he could obtain 100 beast cores or 100 dragon bone of the Dragon Bone Flower, he would be able to obtain 10,000 points. If it was 500, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. If that was the case, he would be able to exchange for the first level of the Saint Grade Divine Technique. Yes, the reward is too shocking. Even many inner disciples are envious, but they can't enter. Let me tell you, there are many outer disciples on the empty God list who could have broken through to the true God realm long ago. However, they have been suppressing their cultivation in order to wait for the Nether Dragon's secret realm that opens once every 100,000 years. This is a good opportunity to earn a lot. How about it? It will open in 3 days. Do you want to go together? Yu Linglong said. Of course, I'm going. Lu Ming said. He would be a fool if he didn't go. Then let's wait a few days. We'll go in a few days. Yu Linglong said. Then they went to the Divine Vein Tower and cultivated for a few days. 3 days later, Lu Ming and Yu Linglong flew out of the inner area and headed for the outer area. The entrance to the Nether Dragon's secret realm was in a huge palace in the outer sect area. This hall was normally closed, and would only be opened when the Nether Dragon's secret realm was about to open. In these few days, Lu Ming had a better understanding of the Nether Dragon's secret realm. The great desolate universe was vast and boundless. It was the most perfect and stable world in the Great Thousand Realms. Around it, some small kiliocosms would evolve, such as the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm. At the same time, some mystic realms would also evolve. These arcane realms were of a higher level than many minor kiliocosms, and were tightly attached to the Urwild's universe. For the creatures in the minor kiliocosm, reaching the demigod realm was the limit. If they wanted to advance further, they would have to enter the primitive universe. However, in some secret realms, deities or even stronger beings could be born. The Nether Dragon's secret realm was such a secret realm. When Lu Ming and Yu Linglong arrived, they found that there was already a sea of people outside the palace. Countless outer disciples began to gather at the scene. It's Lu Ming! Many people recognized Lu Ming as soon as Lu Ming arrived. Back then, Lu Ming had become famous after defeating 3 geniuses of the Empty God ranking. His name had already spread throughout the outer sect. This brat also wants to enter the Nether Dragon's secret realm. Fine, I'll get rid of him inside. Some people harumphed coldly in their hearts as their gazes were like lightning. Furthermore, there were many people with such thoughts. Shwa, shwa. At this moment, several white-haired elders flew over and landed in front of the palace. The inner elders are here. The door is about to open. Many people became excited. Many people's cultivation could have broken through to the true God realm, but they had suppressed it to the peak empty God realm. They were waiting for the Nether Dragon's secret realm to open so that they could gain some benefits. There was a total of 3 inner sect elders who landed in front of the palace door. Then, they struck out with their palms and 3 streams of divine power slammed into the palace door. Rumble! The palace's great doors shone, and rumbling noises could be heard as they slowly opened. However, there was still a light barrier above the door. In the Nether Dragon's secret realm, the Nether Dragon Beast and the Dragon Bone Flower are both very powerful. Those with weak cultivation and insufficient battle power will not only not be able to obtain beast cores and dragon bones, but will also die. Therefore, only those who can break through this light barrier can enter the Nether Dragon's secret realm. Now you can go. Remember, you only have 3 months. After 3 months, you must return here or else you will be locked inside. An inner elder announced. Let's go. Instantly, a group of outer disciples charged towards the door. The door was 100 meters tall and dozens of meters wide. It could easily allow 100 people to pass through. Boom, boom. The group of outer disciples all sent out powerful attacks that landed on the barrier, causing it to violently tremble. However, the majority of them were blocked. Only a few managed to break through the barrier and enter, disappearing in a flash. Damn it, I don't believe it. Break for me. Someone roared and used his strongest power, but he still couldn't break through the barrier. Trash, don't block the way. Behind him, other people charged over and sent out their divine power, wanting to push the person in front away. You're the trash. The person in front was furious and attacked, but after exchanging a single blow with the person behind him, he spat out a mouthful of blood and crashed into the barrier, his face pale. Dongfang Hao. That person's face was pale, and the person behind him was Dongfang Hao. Trash, scram. Dongfang Hao disdainfully shouted and sent out a palm, breaking through the barrier and entering the palace. Those who can't break through the barrier, get out of the way. Don't block the way. An inner elder's voice sounded. He waved his hand, sending out waves of energy that sent those who couldn't break through the barrier flying. Shwa, shwa. People continued to dash forward, breaking through the barrier and entering the palace. Those who have the strength of a level 9 empty god realm martial artist can break through the barrier. At this point, Lu Ming had already seen through the trick. As long as one had the strength of a level 9 empty god realm martial artist, they would be able to break through the barrier. Those who didn't have the strength of a level 9 empty god realm martial artist would not be able to break through the barrier. Lu Ming, let's go in quickly. Yu Linglong shouted and flew forward. Lu Ming also flew forward and arrived before the barrier. Yu Linglong sent out a palm, causing the barrier to collapse like water. In a flash, she entered the barrier. Lu Ming also sent out a punch, breaking through the barrier and entering the palace. Inside the palace, there was a huge empty palace. In the middle of the palace, there was a huge black whirlpool. This was the entrance to the Nether Dragon's secret domain. The two of them charged into the whirlpool in a flash. After a moment of dizziness, Lu Ming discovered that he had appeared on a piece of yellow land with Yu Linglong by his side. Let's go and find the Nether Dragon Beast and Dragon Bone Flower. 3 months will pass in the blink of an eye. Yu Linglong said. The two of them turned into rays of light and flew into the distance. Chapter 2696. The Nether Dragon Mystery Domain was vast and boundless. Lu Ming didn't know how big it was, but he felt that it was at least bigger than the Heaven Domain, Yuan Domain, and Evil God Domain combined. The two flew for a few hours, but they didn't see anything. What entered their eyes was a vast expanse of yellow land. We're too unlucky. When we entered, we were sent to this piece of yellow land. This piece of yellow land is barren and there are no nether dragons or dragon bone flowers. Yu Linglong said bitterly. Lu Ming was also a little depressed, but there was nothing he could do about it. He could only focus on his journey. After flying for another 2 hours, mountains gradually appeared in front of them. A series of roars could be heard coming from the mountains. It's the nether dragons. Yu Linglong's eyes lit up. The two increased their speed and flew towards the mountains. But at this time, other rays of light appeared from other directions and also flew towards the mountains. They were the other outer sect disciples. Lu Ming looked around and saw more than 10 people. Let's increase our speed. Yu Linglong shouted as she circulated her divine power and a layer of rainbow light covered her body. Boom! At this time, several powerful auras came from the sky. The pressure was like a tide that pressed down in all directions, covering Lu Ming and the other outer sect disciples. It was extremely domineering. Then 2 youths, 1 male and 1 female, descended and blocked the group. The nether dragons in this area belong to the 2 of us. You guys can leave. The male said coldly as he glanced at Lu Ming and the others. His eyes were filled with arrogance. Moreover, his tone was filled with a strong threat. It was as if he said that and the others had to follow. It's Lu Yang, ranked 35th on the Empty God list, and Fang Ya, ranked 37th. Someone exclaimed as they recognized the two. Why are we so unlucky to meet the 2 of them? It looks like we can only leave. The other outer sect disciples had ugly expressions, but they were also filled with helplessness. Those who could enter the Nether Dragon Mystery Domain all had battle power of the 9th level of the Void God realm. However, he only had the combat strength of a level 9 Empty God. He was far from being comparable to those geniuses on the Empty God list. This was especially true for the top 50 geniuses on the Virtual God list. Each of them had astonishing combat power and could survive the attack of a level 1 True God expert. It was said that the top 30 geniuses could even contend with a first-level True God existence. Although Lu Yang and Fang Ya were only ranked 35th and 37th respectively, the 2 of them were lovers. They specialized in joint attacks, and when the 2 of them joined forces, they could fight against the top 30 geniuses. Ordinary 9th level Ethereal God realm experts were far weaker than them. Although the other 10 or so outer disciples were unwilling, they slowly backed away. However, Lu Ming and Yu Linglong did not back down. Why aren't you leaving yet? Lu Yang looked at Lu Ming and Yu Linglong with a cold glint in his eyes. Retreat? Why should we retreat? Since we've encountered a nether dragon, the nether dragon core will depend on our own abilities. Lu Ming said indifferently. Brat, you're very confident. Lu Yang's eyes became colder as he said, the nether dragon's secret domain is no longer within the sect. Killing is not prohibited here. Do you understand? This was a blatant threat. His meaning was clear. If Lu Ming did not retreat, then he could stay here forever. You talk too much nonsense. Did there scram or attack? Lu Ming stepped forward and scolded. He was too lazy to talk nonsense with Lu Yang. He did not have much time. A piece of nether dragon beast core or a piece of dragon bone flowers dragon bone was worth points and money. If Lu Ming wanted to exchange for a sacred grade technique, he would have to rely on these few months. He did not have the time to argue with the other party. "You're courting death." Lu Yang snorted coldly. His finger was like a sword as he pointed at Lu Ming. A sword gleam burst forth from his finger. It was incomparably sharp and emitted a terrifying whistle as it charged towards Lu Ming. Boom! Lu Ming threw out a punch, his divine force surging as it struck Lu Yang's finger. Crack! Lu Yang's finger was broken and twisted like a fried dough twist. His face turned the color of pig liver as he screamed in agony and staggered backward, spurting out a mouthful of blood. What? The rest of the outer disciples who had already retreated opened their mouths wide in shock upon seeing this. After a single exchange, Lu Yang was no match for Qi Nan. "I recognize him. He's Lu Ming. He's Lu Ming." Someone yelled. "What? He's Lu Ming? The Lu Ming who defeated Dongfang Hao, Huang Qingan, and the Scorpion Tiger?" "That's right, it's him. Terrifying. His strength has grown again after a few years." The others exclaimed. "You're Lu Ming." Lu Yang's expression was hideous as he stared at Lu Ming. "Scram!" Lu Ming shouted coldly. "Fine, I would like to see what you're capable of. Fang Ya, let's work together." Lu Yang shouted. "All right." Fang Ya's figure flickered and arrived beside Lu Yang. Clang, clang. Two sounds of swords chiming could be heard. Lu Yang and Fang Ya unsheathed their swords. Two rays of sword gleams soared into the sky. Then, the two rays of sword gleams intertwined and charged toward Lu Ming. The sword momentum was continuous and its power was shocking. Both of them went all out and their strength was much stronger than the Scorpion Tiger. However, Lu Ming's strength was no longer the same as it was in the past. In the past few years, he had cultivated 3 different royal-grade divine skills and 3 divine fires. His divine force was much stronger than before. In addition, his cultivation had broken through to the 5th level of the Empty God realm. His strength was much stronger than when he fought the Scorpion Tiger and the others. Buzz! Lu Ming took out his spear and swept it out. The spear did not display the destructive 3 strikes. What was used was merely an incomplete divine skill. The spear ray and sword ray collided with each other and an intense battle ensued. Clang, clang, clang. The sound of the collision was like a thunderclap. After more than 10 collisions, Lu Yang and Fang Ya retreated 1,000 meters before they stopped. Both of their faces were ghastly pale and blood was seeping out from the corners of their mouths. There was a hole in their bodies that was penetrated from the front and back. It was obvious that they had been pierced by Lu Ming's long spear. "I'll let you off this time. Get lost." Lu Ming shouted coldly. Lu Yang and Fang Ya's faces were ugly, but there was deep fear in their eyes. They knew that they were no match for Lu Ming. "Let's go." The two of them turned into 2 rays of light and left. So strong. Lu Ming is so strong. Lu Yang and Fang Ya are no match for him even when they join forces. It's only been 5 to 6 years and his strength has increased tremendously. His current combat strength is probably in the top 30 of the Empty God realm. No, he might even be in the top 20. The outer disciples who witnessed the battle between Lu Ming and Lu Yang and Fang Ya were shocked. "Do you guys want to stay here and compete with me?" At that moment, Lu Ming's gaze swept across the outer disciples. The outer disciples' faces changed. What a joke. Competing with Lu Ming was the same as seeking death. Immediately, all of them flew away with their tails between their legs. Chapter 2697. Lu Ming, I didn't expect you to be so strong. Yu Linglong looked at Lu Ming with shock written all over her face. Although she knew that Lu Ming wasn't weak, she didn't expect him to be so strong. "Let's go and hunt the netherworld dragons." Lu Ming smiled and flew towards the mountain peaks. When Lu Ming and Yu Linglong neared the mountain peaks, a few netherworld dragons appeared on the mountain peaks. The netherworld dragons looked like tigers. They were 5 meters tall and 10 meters long. Their bodies were covered in black scales and there were 2 dragon horns on their heads. Their auras were wild. The few netherworld dragons roared and kicked off with their hind legs. They turned into a few streaks of black light and charged towards Lu Ming and Yu Linglong. So fast! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He shook his spear and stabbed out a few times. A few spear radiances pierced through the heads of the 3 netherworld dragons. Ding! Ding! When the spear pierced the heads of the netherworld dragons, there was the sound of metal clashing and sparks flew. The 3 netherworld dragons were forced back by Lu Ming's attacks. However, Lu Ming also felt a huge force surging through the spear, causing his arm to feel numb. What shocking strength! Lu Ming was slightly shocked. He could feel that the few netherworld dragons were at level 9 Empty God Realm, but their strength was shocking. With Lu Ming's current strength, there weren't many empty gods who could cause his arm to feel numb. What shocked Lu Ming even more was that after the 3 netherworld dragons were forced back, they shook their heads and were completely fine. Shocking defensive strength. If it were any other level 9 Empty God Realm wild beast, they would definitely die on the spot after being pierced by Lu Ming's spear. The 3 netherworld dragons roared. Following which, a few more netherworld dragons appeared between the mountain peaks. They were filled with killing intent as they charged towards them. Kill! Lu Ming also charged forward, circulating his sovereign's god force with all his might. The 4 divine fires in his body burned fiercely, and 3 types of king-grade god force merged with his sovereign's god force, bursting forth with shocking might. The nether dragon roared. Its razor-sharp claws clawed at Lu Ming. The wind howled, terrifying to the extreme. Bang! 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 The 2 sides continued to clash, but Lu Ming was still stronger. His spear struck the 3 nether dragons, and 15 layers of power exploded, sending the 3 nether dragons flying. However, after the nether dragon was sent flying, it shook its head and body as if nothing had happened. This strength! Lu Ming was extremely shocked. The nether dragon's strength completely exceeded his expectations. No wonder the inner sect elders said that the nether dragon core dragonbone flower was very powerful. Only those who could break through the light screen could enter. Lu Ming was sure that even a rank 9 Empty God Realm expert wouldn't be a match for a nether dragon. If they wanted to kill a nether dragon, they would need at least a few people to work together. On the other side, Yu Linglong was also fighting with a few nether dragons. A soft whip appeared in Yu Linglong's hand. As she waved the whip, the sky was filled with whip shadows, trapping the nether dragons in the middle. What strength! Yu Linglong's strength had also exceeded Lu Ming's expectations. Yu Linglong's cultivation was at the rank 9 Empty God Realm, but Lu Ming felt that Yu Linglong wasn't weak compared to many of the top geniuses of the Empty God Realm. However, Yu Linglong's identity wasn't ordinary. She wasn't an outer sect disciple but an inner sect disciple. There were many examples like this in the Kongxian school. Many descendants of great figures were directly nurtured in the inner sect and wouldn't join the ranks of outer sect disciples. Naturally, they wouldn't enter the Empty God Realm, but their strength was very shocking. The nether dragon was continuously sent flying by Lu Ming. It let out a furious roar and a baleful aura filled the sky. Its body was covered in a layer of black flames as it glared at Lu Ming and charged at Lu Ming. Boom! 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 The 2 sides once again engaged in an intense battle. However, the nether dragon's defense was too shocking. It was continuously hit by Lu Ming, but it was as if nothing had happened. Lu Ming couldn't break through its defense at all. Lu Ming's strength could completely suppress a few nether dragons, but he couldn't break through their defense and kill them. No, there must be a weakness. As long as I can find the weakness of the nether dragon, I can kill it. Lu Ming's mind was racing. If there weren't any weaknesses, then how did the people who entered 100,000 and 200,000 years ago kill it? If even Lu Ming couldn't kill it, then there weren't many people below the true God realm who could. After thinking about this, Lu Ming began to probe. The long spear constantly stabbed at different parts of the nether dragon. Finally, after hundreds of probing, Lu Ming finally found the weakness of the nether dragon. Lu Ming's spear pierced the nether dragon's neck. The nether dragon roared as blood flowed out. It then fell to the ground and twitched a few times before losing its vitality. The neck was the nether dragon's weakness. Yu Linglong, attack its neck. Lu Ming shouted. Bush, bush. Yu Linglong's attack changed. The soft whip hardened and stabbed out like a long spear. The soft whip pierced a nether dragon's neck and killed it. It's the neck! Yu Linglong was excited and began to attack crazily. At the same time, Lu Ming also attacked. Although the nether dragons tried to dodge, they couldn't and were killed by Lu Ming. On the other side, Yu Linglong also killed the last two nether dragons. Then, the two dug out a few beast cores from the nether dragons' chests. There were a total of 6 beast cores, 3 for each person. These beast cores could be used to refine divine pills and were very useful. They were even helpful to true gods and heavenly gods. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so expensive. Lu Ming was delighted. 1 beast core was worth 100 points, which was equivalent to 1 million divine gems. Let's continue. Lu Ming's eyes were burning as he flew forward with Yu Linglong. They hadn't flown far when roars came from the front. There were at least a dozen nether dragons leaping from the mountain and running towards them. We didn't go looking for you, but you came to us yourself. Just in time. Lu Ming laughed and charged at the dozen nether dragons. The nether dragon was very powerful and had shocking strength. However, since Lu Ming knew its weakness, given his combat ability, it was not too difficult to deal with it. Lu Ming and Yu Linglong worked together and killed the dozen nether dragons. Each of them obtained 7 beast cores. Adding the 3 from before, they had 10 now. If exchanged for points, it would be 1,000 points. 1,000 points could be exchanged for a slightly inferior king-grade divine art. This speed of earning points made Lu Ming very happy. Of course, this was also because they were strong enough to kill the nether dragons. If it were others, they wouldn't be so fast. Even if an outer sect disciple at the 9th level of the ethereal god realm knew the weakness of the nether dragon, they would still need many people to work together to kill it. If they encountered a dozen nether dragons at once, they wouldn't be able to deal with them and could only run away. Chapter 2698. In just a short while, he had obtained the beast core of 1,000 points. Lu Ming was excited and wanted to continue forward with Yu Linglong to kill more netherworld dragons. Boom! Suddenly, a powerful pressure came down from the sky. It was filled with a domineering aura. Then, a few young men slowly descended from the sky. Dongfang Hao. Lu Ming squinted his eyes. There were 3 youths and one of them was Huang Chengan, who was ranked 98th on the empty god list back then. Of course, Lu Ming had defeated 3 people in a row and defeated the 51st ranked Scorpion Tiger. Huang Chengan's ranking had dropped to 99th. Lu Ming was not concerned about Huang Chengan but the other 2 youths, especially a youth in black armor. This youth in black armor was tall and muscular. Black armor covered his entire body and even his palms were covered by the armor. Only his head was exposed and he was filled with a domineering aura. Kuang Dao, it's little tyrant Kuang Dao. Yu Linglong exclaimed when she saw the youth in black armor. It's him! Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. In this period of time, he had some understanding of some of the top people on the empty god list. Little tyrant Kuang Dao was ranked 5th on the empty god list. He was a terrifying figure and very powerful. In the entire outer sect, there were only a handful of outer sect disciples who could suppress him. Those in the top 10 of the empty god list all had shocking battle records and had defeated true gods before. This was terrifying. Like the Scorpion Tiger, it had only escaped from the hands of a true god realm expert before. It was completely different from being defeated. The difference was like heaven and earth. It was said that the top 3 on the empty god list had the strength to kill a true god realm expert. Little tyrant Kuang Dao was undoubtedly more terrifying. Although little tyrant Kuang Dao did not have the strength to kill a true god realm expert, he had defeated many true god realm experts and his combat strength was unquestionable. You are Lu Ming, the one who killed many of my floating light sect's junior brothers? Kuang Dao's eyes were like a ferocious beast as he stared at Lu Ming with cold, murderous intent. If people don't provoke me, I won't provoke them. If people provoke me, no matter who they are, I'll kill them all. Lu Ming replied coldly. Hee, is that so? Kill them all? Let's see if you have the ability. Crazy Dao's face turned even colder. The aura on his body suddenly burst out. The violent pressure was like a mountain, pressing down on Lu Ming. Bush. Huang Qingan and the other young man moved in a flash and formed a triangle, surrounding Lu Ming and Yu Linglong in the middle to prevent them from escaping. Lu Ming, I wasn't there when you fought so many people in the life and death arena. Otherwise, I wouldn't have allowed you to be so arrogant. His name was Lan Shang and he was also an expert on the Empty God list. He was ranked 33rd on the Empty God list. Talk too much. Don't you know that villains usually die from talking too much? Lu Ming coldly glanced at Lan Shang. You're courting death. Senior brother Guangdao, leave this brat to me. Lan Shang's eyes were cold as a war blade appeared in his hand. Unfortunately, they did not know that Lu Ming had already defeated Lu Yang and Fang Ye. Although Lu Yang and Fang Ye were ranked lower than Lan Shang on the Empty God list, their combined strength was definitely above Lan Shang's. If he knew about it, he would not be so confident. Sky Blade 10 slashes. Lan Shang shouted coldly. Blade Chi soared into the sky. A blue blade radiance was crystal clear and filled with terrifying power as it slashed towards Lu Ming. Buzz. Lu Ming's long spear shook as he lashed it out. Rumble. The long spear lashed out and there was a violent explosion. Then, the long spear struck Lan Shang's blade radiance. Break it! Lan Shang began to roar, wanting to break Lu Ming's spear radiance. However, in the next moment, his eyes widened and he let out a miserable shriek. Not only did he fail to break Lu Ming's spear radiance, but his own blade radiance also shattered. The long spear was like a hot knife through butter as it struck Lan Shang's body. Lan Shang screamed as his body flew out like a cannonball. He brought along a long stream of air as he crashed into a mountain. The mountain crumbled and Lan Shang's body was lying on a pile of rocks. His body was twitching nonstop and he was already half dead. Huang Qingan's eyes widened as he was almost scared to death. His body instinctively retreated. Even the eyes of the little tyrant, Guangdao, narrowed. Obviously, Lu Ming's combat strength had exceeded his expectations. Although Lan Shang's combat strength was far from his, he was already a top expert in the Empty God realm. However, he was now half dead after being struck by Lu Ming's spear. So you do have some strength. No wonder you're so arrogant. However, this strength is not enough in my hands. Guangdao opened his mouth and his divine force exploded. His tall figure looked even more mighty. Boom! Guangdao stepped out. His body was like a mountain as he pressed down on Lu Ming. Let me see how strong you are. Overbearing divine fist. Guangdao roared. The black armor on his body emitted a bright black light as he threw a punch at Lu Ming. His fist was wrapped in black armor. When he threw a punch, it was like a mountain pressing down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming was not afraid as he circulated his divine force. In his elixir field, for divine fires burned. Divine force gushed out and entered the long spear as he threw out a spear. Boom! Like two meteorites exploding, the sky shook violently and formed a terrifying shockwave that rushed out in all directions. Swoosh! A figure retreated a few dozen miles and stood in the air. His aura fluctuated. This figure was Guangdao. How can this be? Huang Qingan was shocked to the core. Lu Ming's combat strength was shocking. Even Guangdao, who was ranked 5th on the Empty God list, was pushed back by Lu Ming. Kid, not bad. Your strength is not bad. Take another blow from me. Overbearing divine fist, fist of the world. Guangdao roared as the aura on his body became more terrifying. He threw out a punch and the fist force was like a meteorite as it flew towards Lu Ming. The terrifying fist force continued to press toward Lu Ming even though it was still a distance away. Peak of level 2 divine skill. Lu Ming saw the level of Guangdao's divine skill at a glance. Guangdao's divine power was definitely at the top of the king grade divine power, very close to the saint grade divine power. His divine skill had been cultivated to the peak of the 2nd level. In addition to his black armor, the combination of his divine power was shockingly strong. Even someone like Lan Shang would be killed with a single punch from this punch. First move of the 3 annihilating strikes, sky-piercing. Lu Ming used the first move of the 3 annihilating strikes. Although the 3 annihilating strikes was only at the peak of level 1, the power of the 3 annihilating strikes was already strong. With the support of the battle word secret art, the power was not weak at all. Swoosh! A meteor-like spear radiance shot out and collided with Guangdao's fist force. Rumble! An even more terrifying explosion occurred as the violent force swept out in all directions. Not good. Huang Qing'an's face changed as he retreated. Otherwise, he would be injured by the force. Chapter 2699. In the sky, one could only see a ball of black light and a ball of purple light colliding with each other. However, after a few breaths, the black light suddenly retreated and shook violently. Bam! In the end, the black light dissipated and Crazy Dao's tall and strong body was thrown back. As he was thrown back, there were clanging sounds and sparks on the surface of his body. This was Lu Ming's remaining strength attacking the black armor on Crazy Dao's body. Boom! In the end, Crazy Dao crashed into a mountain like Lanshang. However, his situation was much better than Lanshang's. When he hit the mountain peak, he stomped his feet on the mountain peak. The mountain peak rumbled, cracked, and then exploded. Mad Dao used the force of the stomp to rush back into the sky. However, Crazy Dao was in a sorry state. His hair was disheveled and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. There were cracks on his black armor and blood was seeping out. How can this be? How can this be? On the other side, Huang Qing'an was trembling in fear. He couldn't believe it. Crazy Dao was ranked 5th on the Empty God list. His combat strength was almost at the peak of the Empty God realm and he had defeated many rank 1 true gods. In Kongshen School, there were only a few Empty Gods who could defeat Crazy Dao. But now, in the battle between Lu Ming and Crazy Dao, Lu Ming actually had the upper hand. The clash between the two ended with Crazy Dao being injured. Moreover, Lu Ming had just entered the sect and his cultivation was far from the peak of the Empty God realm. If Lu Ming's cultivation was at the peak of the Empty God realm, how terrifying would his combat strength be? Crazy Dao is indeed powerful. Looking at Guangdao, who was not far away, a thought flashed across Lu Ming's mind. With Lu Ming's current combat strength, he could kill an ordinary rank 9 Empty God in one move. However, his attack was blocked by Crazy Dao. However, Lu Ming knew that Crazy Dao had not used his full strength. Crazy Dao's current combat strength was not enough for him to defeat a true god. Even if they were ordinary true gods. You still have trump cards that you haven't used yet, right? Use them all. Otherwise, you're no match for me. Lu Ming said nonchalantly. He was looking forward to seeing the combat strength of the person ranked 5th on the Empty God list. This was because he hadn't used his full strength either. The battle formula hadn't been activated yet. Lu Ming, it looks like I've really underestimated you. Your strength is beyond my expectations. Now then, bear the full brunt of my fury. Guangdao's eyes were filled with madness. His rage was about to burst out. He did not know how many years it had been since an Empty God had forced him into such a state. In Kongshen School, there were only a few Empty Gods who were stronger than him. He usually did not fight with those people. He was almost invincible among the Empty Gods. But now, Lu Ming had made him bleed. He wanted to return the favor 10-fold, 100-fold. Rioting skill. All of a sudden, Crazy Dao let out a roar. His hair stood on end, and his aura erupted like a volcano, increasing by a large margin. This is a secret skill that temporarily increases combat strength. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Overbearing divine fist, conquering the world. Crazy Dao roared. He was like a mountain as he pressed down on Lu Ming. Both of his fists were like mountains. Lu Ming waved his long spear and spear shadows that were as thick as mountains shot out. Boom, boom. There were continuous explosions in the sky as the two of them fought fiercely. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged more than 10 blows. What an amazing secret skill. My combat strength has doubled. In the midst of the fight, Lu Ming judged that Crazy Dao's secret skill had doubled his combat strength. It was very similar to the battle formula. However, Crazy Dao's secret skill was naturally incomparable to the battle formula. For a secret skill like Crazy Dao's, there were no side effects. Moreover, its limit was to double one's combat strength. However, there was no limit to the battle formula. As Lu Ming continued to comprehend it, the power of the battle formula would become stronger. Now, Lu Ming was able to triple his combat strength. In the future, it was possible for him to triple his combat strength, quadruple his combat strength, quintuple his combat strength, sixfold his combat strength, and so on. The battle formula in his sea of consciousness was like a treasure that could be unearthed endlessly. Kill, kill, kill. Crazy Dao roared. His long hair danced in the wind. His aura was wild and his killing intent was as cold as a knife. His secret skill was indeed flawed. There was a time limit. Once the time limit was up, it would drop to its previous level. Therefore, he had to kill Lu Ming before the time limit was up. Clang, clang. The two of them exchanged a few blows. The battle was intense. It seems like this is your limit. I won't waste my time with you, Lu Ming said coldly. Then, the battle formula was activated. Boom. Lu Ming's combat strength increased sharply. With a sweep of his spear, he broke through Crazy Dao's fist force and sent Crazy Dao flying. How can this be? Crazy Dao was shocked. It was unbelievable. Until now, Lu Ming had not used his full strength. This kind of combat strength was abnormal. It was more abnormal than any monster he had ever seen. Apocalyptic Triple Strike, Sky Piercer. After repelling Crazy Dao, Lu Ming immediately used the Apocalyptic Triple Strike. It turned into a dazzling spear light and attacked Crazy Dao. No, block it. I must block it. Facing Lu Ming's attack, Crazy Dao's face changed drastically. He felt the threat of death. This strike could very well kill him. Black Gold Secret Art. Crazy Dao roared. His body emitted a black light. A layer of black metal-like light emerged from his body. This was another kind of divine skill. It was a defensive divine skill. After using the defensive divine skill, Crazy Dao continued to punch. Finally, a huge fist force blasted towards Lu Ming. Boom. The fist force was directly dispersed. The spear light bombarded Crazy Dao's body. Crazy Dao's body shook violently. He was sent flying like a meteor. In an instant he was sent flying thousands of miles away. He vomited blood. His defensive divine skill was penetrated. The black armor on his body shattered. A big hole appeared in his chest. However, he was not dead. He managed to block Lu Ming's attack. Run. Crazy Dao only had one thought. He used his full strength and even burned his divine power. His whole body was like a ball of fire as he rushed towards the distance. His speed was astonishing. In the blink of an eye, he was tens of thousands of miles away. This guy's life-saving ability is really strong. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He was a little surprised that he did not kill Crazy Dao in one move. However, Crazy Dao's life-saving ability was indeed strong. He used a secret technique that increased his combat strength, an offensive divine skill, a defensive divine skill, and that armor together to block Lu Ming's killing blow. Moreover, Lu Ming did not cultivate a speed-type divine skill. His speed was limited and he might not be able to catch up to Crazy Dao. Then, Lu Ming looked at Huang Chengan. Baidu search Xing 81 Chinese network. No advertising message. Chapter 2700. Lu Ming's gaze suddenly turned towards Huang Chengan, causing Huang Chengan's face to turn pale. Lu Ming, don't kill me. Huang Chengan's face was filled with fear as his voice trembled. He had never dreamt that Crazy Dao would lose to Lu Ming and be forced to run away by Lu Ming. At this moment, his legs were trembling and he even forgot to run away. Don't kill you? You just said that you wanted to kill me. Lu Ming said coldly as a cold killing intent surged out of his body and enveloped Huang Chengan. Huang Chengan screamed and turned to run. Lu Ming didn't move and stabbed out with his spear. A spear light crossed thousands of miles and stabbed towards Huang Chengan. Huang Qing'an's defense was pierced through like tofu. His body was pierced and blood spurted out. Lu Ming, you'll die a horrible death. The Chosen will not let you go, Huang Qing'an roared and then breathed his last. Lu Ming's expression was calm. He came to the top of the half-dead Lan Shang and stabbed the other party to death while the other party was in despair. Lu Ming would never be merciful to his enemies. As long as there was a chance, he would kill until the other party trembled in fear. Let's go, Lu Ming said as he walked past Yu Linglong. Lu Ming, your strength is really shocking. You've already surpassed me. Yu Linglong followed Lu Ming's footsteps as she blinked her eyes and asked curiously. I was lucky and learned a secret technique to increase my battle strength. Lu Ming casually gave an excuse. The two continued to fly forward. However, after flying for a while, they didn't encounter a single nether dragon. Instead, they encountered quite a few nether dragons. Obviously, there were no more nether dragons in this area. Even if there were, they would have been killed by others. The two of them went deep into the nether dragon's secret realm, heading towards its depths. The terrain became more and more desolate. In the distance, a thunderous roar pierced through the heavens. More than a dozen nether dragons leapt over with shocking speed. They seemed to have discovered them from far away. These nether dragons are strange. We haven't discovered them, but they seem to have discovered us from far away. Yu Linglong asked curiously. Lu Ming was also a little surprised. This was indeed the case. Several times in a row, it was always the nether dragons that took the initiative to attack them. And each time, there would be 7, 8, or even a dozen. But no matter what, this was a good thing. At least they didn't have to waste time looking for it. But in the next moment, Lu Ming and the others' expressions changed. In the distance, roars and howls sounded again, rising and falling. Then, the void trembled and numerous nether dragons appeared in the distance. There were at least 100 of them. More than 100 nether dragons stepped through the air and charged towards Lu Ming and the others. Their auras were like mountains and seas. So many nether dragons, run! Yu Linglong shouted and turned to run. Her reaction was extremely fast. However, Lu Ming's reaction wasn't any slower than hers. He also turned and ran. What a joke! There were too many nether dragons. There were more than 100 of them, and each of them was invulnerable. Their only weakness was their neck. With so many nether dragons charging at them together, no matter how strong Lu Ming was, he would probably be torn apart. Behind them, the nether dragons roared and chased. The two sides, one running and one chasing, crossed tens of thousands of miles in the blink of an eye. Save me! Yu Linglong yelled because there were other figures in front of her. They were the other outer disciples of the Kongshen school. This guy is very unkind. This was Lu Ming's evaluation of Yu Linglong. Obviously, Yu Linglong wanted to drag others down to distract the nether dragons. Of course, Lu Ming naturally followed closely behind Yu Linglong. It's the nether dragons. Nether dragons, there are so many of them. Don't come over. When the outer disciples saw the nether dragons, they were overjoyed. However, when they saw more than 100 nether dragons charging at them, their faces turned pale. They screamed and ran. Don't run. Let's work together and fight these nether dragons. Yu Linglong yelled. It'd be strange if we didn't run. Little girl, don't come over. Scram. Those people roared and ran faster than anything else. Let's split up with them and distract the nether dragons. Lu Ming transmitted to Yu Linglong. Yu Linglong nodded and the two flew in another direction. This way, if the nether dragons were attracted by those people, the pressure on them would be much lighter. However, what they didn't expect was that the nether dragons didn't even look at them. The 100 or so nether dragons still chased after Lu Ming. Nether dragons, you can't play like this. Lu Ming was speechless. These nether dragons seemed to be fixated on them. Battle character art, activate. Lu Ming's heart stirred as he constantly activated the battle formula. Not long after, he successfully activated the battle character art to triple his combat strength. After activating the triple combat strength, Lu Ming's speed increased by a notch. Let's go! Lu Ming pulled Yu Linglong and rushed forward. This way, they gradually pulled away from the nether dragons. After a while, they finally shook off the nether dragons and found a quiet place to meditate and recover their divine power. After recovering their divine power, the two began to discuss. That's strange. Why are those nether dragons so fixated on us? Yu Linglong was puzzled. Lu Ming shook his head. He had no idea about this as well. Could it be that there's something on us that's attracting the nether dragons? Lu Ming said, "What's attracting the nether dragons?" Yu Linglong's eyes flashed, but the two couldn't think of anything on them that was attracting the nether dragons. After a while, the two left this area and continued deeper into the nether dragon mystery realm. But what made them speechless was that not long after, they attracted another group of nether dragons. They could only run. After escaping, they didn't dare to be too obvious. They carefully approached the mystery realm from another direction. This time, more than 10 nether dragons attacked them. They weren't afraid of more than 10 nether dragons. After fighting for a while, they killed the nether dragons and obtained their beast cores. In the following time, they wandered around this area. Whenever they encountered a large number of nether dragons, they would turn and run. If there were only a few, they would stop and hunt. In the blink of an eye, they had been in the nether dragon mystery realm for a month and a half. They had only been in here for 3 months. Half of it had already passed. However, they had also gained a lot. Lu Ming already had more than 200 beast cores. If converted to points, that would be more than 20,000 points. He was getting closer and closer to 50,000 points. The nether dragons in this area were attracted by them in batches and slowly killed. Finally, they had killed almost all of them. The two left this area and continued deeper into the nether dragon mystery realm. Baidu searching 81 Chinese networko. No advertising message. Chapter 2701. A few hours later, they arrived at a huge canyon. Be careful, there might be nether dragons here, Yu Linglong said softly. The two of them retracted their auras and carefully walked into the canyon. After this period of fighting, Lu Ming had a rough understanding of Yu Linglong's combat strength. This girl's combat strength was shockingly strong. Lu Ming judged that she was at least above the crazy Dao. If she was an outer disciple, she would at least be in the top 5 of the empty god list. The two of them walked forward, but they did not encounter a single nether dragon. This canyon was unusually quiet. The two of them were surprised. According to their previous experience, nether dragons usually liked to stay in places like this. Soon, they reached the end of the canyon. In front of the canyon was an endless plain with green grass that was taller than a person. A light breeze blew and a fragrance assailed their nostrils. The two of them arrived at the plain and walked on the grass. Sha sha sha. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound in the distance. Look, what's that? Yu Linglong suddenly pointed to the front of the plain. At this moment, Lu Ming also noticed the difference. In that direction, the green grass was like a wave that was undulating and spreading towards them. There's something in the grass. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. There was something walking in the grass, which caused the waves. Moreover, the range was shockingly large. Sha sha sha. The sound became clearer and clearer. The waves were moving at an extremely fast speed towards Lu Ming and Yu Linglong. Lu Ming's expression changed. He could finally see clearly what was in the green grass. It was something that looked like a dragon bone. It was not big, only a meter long and half a meter tall. It was like a small dragon bone. However, on top of the dragon bone, there was a blood-red flower. The most terrifying thing was that on top of the flower, there was a large mouth full of fangs. It was terrifying. Dragon bone flower. A few words popped up in Lu Ming's mind. Their trip to the nether dragon secret realm this time had 2 main objectives. One was the beast core of the netherworld dragon, and the other was the dragon bone of the dragon bone flower. Each one was worth 100 points. However, there were simply too many dragon bone flowers. At a glance, the entire grassland was shaking. There were at least a few hundred of them. One of the dragon bone flowers shot toward Lu Ming like a bolt of lightning. Let's test its power. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He gripped his spear and charged forward, testing out the power of the dragon bone flower. The long spear trembled as it swept towards the dragon bone flower. However, the dragon bone flower's dragon tail swept out and collided with the long spear. A violent tremor rang out as the dragon bone flower was sent flying. It smashed into the ground, wiping out a large patch of green grass. However, after shaking the flower, it stood up again, completely unharmed. However, Lu Ming's long spear was vibrating nonstop. What a powerful battle strength! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The power of this dragon bone flower was actually not any weaker than the nether dragon. At this moment, there were at least a few dozen dragon bone flowers that charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Many of the dragon bone flowers' mouths opened and closed, biting toward them. Lu Ming's long spear constantly stabbed out, sending a few dragon bone flowers flying. However, due to a moment of carelessness, the long spear was bitten by a dragon bone flower's teeth. A row of teeth marks immediately appeared on the long spear. What a terrifying bite! This was a low-grade 9th-tier divine artifact, and it actually had teeth marks on it. Retreat! Lu Ming shouted. Together with Yu Linglong, they turned and ran. There were too many dragon bone flowers. At a glance, there were at least a few hundred of them. They were no match for them. Surrounded by so many dragon bone flowers, they would probably die. The two of them frantically retreated back into the valley. However, at this moment, their expressions changed drastically. The reason for that was because at that moment, many figures had appeared in the ravine. Nether dragons. They were all nether dragons. At a glance, there were at least a few hundred of them, filling the valley. They had been surrounded. This was a trap. The nether dragons and dragon bone flowers had actually cooperated to dig a hole for them to jump into. The nether dragons roared, their eyes ferocious as they charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Charge out! Lu Ming roared. At the same time, he continuously activated the battle character art. Soon he successfully tripled his battle strength. Furthermore, his divine artifact had changed to a mid-grade 1st-tier divine artifact battle sword. Kill! Lu Ming roared as he slashed out, slashing the head of a nether dragon. The nether dragon was sent flying by the violent force. It collided with the other nether dragons, causing 7 to 8 of them to fly out. It was clear that Lu Ming's sword was very powerful. At the same time, Yu Linglong also attacked with all her strength. One moment her whip was like a sword, and the next moment, it was like a spear. However, no matter how strong the two of them were, there were too many nether dragons and dragon bone flowers. Moreover, their defenses were shockingly strong. These nether dragons and dragon bone flowers charged toward the two of them as if they didn't care about their lives. Bang! Yu Linglong was careless and was swept by a dragon bone flower's tail. Her delicate body trembled as a wound appeared on her body, causing her to spit out blood. Careful! Lu Ming came to Yu Linglong's side. A scarlet gold battle armor appeared on his body. It was the divine skill, 9-layered scarlet gold armor. At the same time, Lu Ming's battle sword continuously slashed out. In an instant, hundreds of sword lights shot out. However, the nether dragons and dragon bone flowers charged forward without fear of death, attacking Lu Ming. 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. Although Lu Ming's battle strength was strong, he was still constantly hit. The sharp claws of the nether dragon, the fangs of the dragon bone flower, and the tail of the dragon bone flower constantly bombarded the reddish-gold armor on Lu Ming's body. The reddish-gold armor vibrated continuously, as if it would collapse at any time. Their situation was precarious. Die! Lu Ming attacked continuously with his sword. A few sword gleams pierced the necks of the nether dragons, killing a few of them. 2 more sword lights stood on the dragon bone flower's stem and cut it in half. The dragon bone flower also died on the spot. The stem was the dragon bone flower's weakness. Once the dragon bone flower died, the scarlet red flower would quickly wither, leaving behind a meter-long dragon bone. However, there were too many nether dragons and dragon bone flowers. They densely surrounded the two of them. The two of them couldn't charge out at all. Cracks appeared on Lu Ming's scarlet gold battle armor. A terrifying force entered Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's face paled as he spat out a mouthful of blood. The scarlet gold battle armor couldn't hold on any longer. Are we going to die here today? Yu Linglong's face was as white as snow. Impossible! How can I be killed by some mindless monsters? Lu Ming roared. His face was filled with unyielding determination. He pushed his potential to the limit, and his divine power crazily circulated. Baidu search Dong 81 Chinese network. No advertising message. Chapter 2702. Lu Ming didn't give up. He pushed his potential to the limit and fought against the nether dragons and dragon bone flowers. Suddenly, his body shone with a reddish gold light. It was much brighter than before. The scarlet gold armor that had appeared on his body was originally filled with cracks, but at this moment, those cracks had all disappeared. The scarlet gold armor shone brightly, and it looked even more solid. He had broken through. The 9-layered armor had broken through at the crucial moment. Lu Ming had already cultivated the 9-layered crimson gold armor to the peak of the first layer. He had been stuck at the peak of the first layer for some time. However, at this moment, after a fight, his potential was stimulated and he finally broke through. After breaking through to the second layer, the armor's defensive power had increased greatly. It had temporarily blocked those attacks. However, Lu Ming wasn't happy at all. Their defense had increased, but they still couldn't break out. Their offensive power hadn't increased. They were still surrounded by the nether dragon and the dragon bone flower and were constantly attacked. Lu Ming tried his best to protect Yu Linglong. However, if this continued even with the defensive power of the crimson gold armor, it would not be able to hold on for long. It would be broken soon. Linglong! Just then, a loud shout came from the sky. Rays of sword light fell, slashing at the nether dragons and dragon bone flowers beside Lu Ming. These rays of sword light were powerful. They sent many nether dragons and dragon bone flowers flying. Then, a figure rushed in. It was a handsome young man in a snow-white robe. Wu Zifeng, why are you here? Why are you here? Seeing this young man, Yu Linglong was very surprised. I came to find you. I heard that you might have entered the nether dragon mystery domain, so I came to find you. My efforts didn't let me down. I finally found you. The young man rushed to Yu Linglong's side. Why are you so stupid? You rushed in to die. Be careful. Yu Linglong exclaimed. Nether dragons and dragon bone flowers were constantly attacking them. Wu Zifeng waved his sword to meet the attack. Sword light burst forth, sending a few nether dragons and dragon bone flowers flying. Such strong combat power. That's divine power. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. This Wu Zifeng actually controlled Saint-grade divine power, and the power of his divine skills was also very shocking. He was only a level 9 empty god, but his combat power was far stronger than Crazy Dao. However, Wu Zifeng's name wasn't on the empty god list. The weakness of the nether dragon's neck and the dragon bone flower's stalk. Lu Ming reminded them. Wu Zifeng glanced at Lu Ming and dragon bone flowers. Instantly, a few nether dragons and dragon bone flowers and dragon bone flowers and dragon bone flowers. With the addition of Wu Zifeng, the pressure on them decreased slightly. However, it was still very difficult for them to charge out. On the other side of the valley, the roars continued, making their faces turn ugly. Even more nether dragons were charging over. On the other side of the grassland, rustling sounds could be heard. More dragon bone flowers had arrived. What's going on? Why are there more and more nether dragons and dragon bone flowers? Their attacks are crazy as if they don't care about their lives. When I first came in, I wasn't that crazy. Wu Zifeng exclaimed. It was easier for him to kill his way in. But now, it was much harder for him to kill his way out because the nether dragons and dragon bone flowers were crazy and wanted to keep them here. Looking from afar, the three of them were surrounded by the nether dragons and dragon bone flowers. There was no way out. Lu Ming was hit continuously. The crimson gold armor vibrated continuously and cracks appeared on it once again. Then, more and more cracks appeared. A nether dragon's sharp claw pierced through Lu Ming's defense and scratched Lu Ming's body. It tore off a piece of flesh from Lu Ming's body. Die! Lu Ming's eyes were red as he stabbed his sword into the nether dragon's neck. Blood sprayed out and mixed with Lu Ming's blood. But at this moment, something strange happened. Runes that looked like small snakes appeared on Lu Ming's body. They intertwined and covered Lu Ming's body. Nether Dragon Blood Curse. This was the Nether Dragon Blood Curse that the Kongxian School's sect master had placed on Lu Ming's body. The moment the Nether Dragon Blood Curse appeared, the Nether Dragon's blood was completely absorbed by the Nether Dragon Blood Curse. At this moment, Lu Ming felt a violent energy erupt from his body. At the same time, a violent evil intent filled Lu Ming's heart. Kill! Lu Ming roared and slashed out. This slash split the Nether Dragon's head in half. The Nether Dragon's defense was shocking, but at this moment, it couldn't block Lu Ming's slash. The Nether Dragon's blood was completely absorbed by the Nether Dragon Blood Curse, and Lu Ming's energy became even stronger. Kill, kill, kill. Lu Ming's eyes were red, and his killing intent soared. His battle sword continuously slashed out, killing several Nether Dragons in succession. What's going on? On the side, Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng were dumbfounded. How did Lu Ming's battle power suddenly increase? He became invincible. The Nether Dragon and Dragonbone Flower roared like thunder, becoming even more violent. Pairs of red eyes stared greedily at Lu Ming as if they were looking at a rare treasure. Then, they crazily charged at Lu Ming, completely ignoring Wu Zifeng and Yu Linglong. I understand now. These Nether Dragons and Dragonbone Flowers are crazily attacking us because of the curse on his body. Yu Linglong suddenly shouted. Indeed, what a strange curse. Just what kind of curse is this? It looks incomparably evil. Wu Zifeng also frowned. No, he's about to be drowned. Let's go save him. Yu Linglong shouted, wanting to save Lu Ming. Don't come over. You guys go charge out first. At this moment, Lu Ming's voice rang out. Now, Lu Ming also understood what was going on. These Nether Dragons and Dragonbone Flowers were all attacking them because of Lu Ming. More accurately, it was because of the Nether Dragon Blood Curse. It could be said that they were completely attracted by the Nether Dragon Blood Curse. It was no wonder they didn't even need to look for Nether Dragons on their way here. There were so many Nether Dragons coming for them. Nether Dragon Blood Curse, Nether Dragon Secret Realm, Nether Dragon Beasts, Dragonbone Flowers. There was definitely a connection between all of these. No, we came together. If we have to leave, we have to leave together. Yu Linglong shouted. If you stay here, you'll only be a hindrance. You guys go first. I have a way to charge out. Lu Ming roared and slashed his sword, killing a Nether Dragon. Once the Nether Dragon died, the Nether Dragon Blood Curse absorbed its blood, causing Lu Ming's energy to become even more berserk. But Lu Ming had a faint feeling that this wasn't a good thing. After absorbing the Nether Dragon's blood, the Nether Dragon Blood Curse would most likely become even stronger. If he wanted to break free from it, it would become even more difficult. Baidu Search Translator, Zefizi Editor, Zefizo. No advertisement. Chapter 2703. However, they couldn't care about that now. They had to get out first. Linglong, he's right. Let's get out first. He might be able to escape, Wu Zifeng said to Yu Linglong. Let's go. Lu Ming roared. Lu Ming, you have to get out. Yu Linglong gritted her teeth and rushed in another direction with Wu Zifeng. As expected, the Nether Dragon and Dragonbone Flower didn't care about them. They easily got out of the canyon and arrived at a mountain peak outside. They looked from afar and waited for Lu Ming. They waited for more than 10 minutes. Why isn't he out yet? Yu Linglong was anxious. He's out. Suddenly, Wu Zifeng's eyes flashed. In the canyon, a figure was rushing over. It was Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming was covered in blood. His entire body was covered in the Nether Dragon Blood Curse. As soon as he got out of the canyon, he turned into a ray of light and rushed into the distance. Behind him, The nether dragon and dragonbone flower chased after him like a tide. However, they were slower than Lu Ming. Let's follow him. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng followed from another direction. The nether dragon and dragonbone flower weren't as fast as Lu Ming and soon lost him. They slowly stopped and retreated. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng flew. After a while, they finally found Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming was lying in a small stream, unconscious. On his body, the nether dragon blood curse was like small snakes swimming around. Slowly, it disappeared. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng brought Lu Ming to a cave and waited patiently. This is a disciple of your Kongxian school? His strength is really shocking. Wu Zifeng sized up Lu Ming and said, "It is indeed shocking. Moreover, he just joined not long ago." Yu Linglong said, "Just joined not long ago?" Wu Zifeng's eyes widened in surprise. The two chatted as they waited. A few hours later, Lu Ming finally woke up. Pain. When Lu Ming woke up, his first feeling was intense pain all over his body. Lu Ming got up, took out a few healing elixirs and swallowed them. He began to refine the medicinal effects to recover. A few days later, Lu Ming finally adjusted his condition to peak condition. The injuries on his body had also fully recovered. "Lu, are you all right?" Yu Linglong. "I'm fine now. Thank you for your help." Lu Ming smiled. He had fainted outside previously. If Yu Linglong and the rest were not around, it would have been very dangerous. He might have died under the fangs of the nether dragon. "I should be the one thanking you," Yu Linglong hurriedly said. "That's right. We should be thanking you. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to break out of the encirclement of the nether dragon and the dragon bone flower." Wu Zifeng also hurriedly stepped forward and held Yu Linglong's hand. He looked at Lu Ming warily. Yu Linglong blushed slightly and said, "Lu Ming, let me introduce you. This is my fiancé Wu Zifeng." "I see." Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. So Wu Zifeng was Yu Linglong's fiancé. No wonder he risked his life to save her, and no wonder he was wary of him. However, Wu Zifeng's character should be considered pretty good. If other people saw their fiancé together with other people, they would probably reveal killing intent. Moreover, he could see that Wu Zifeng and Yu Linglong's relationship was not bad. Of course, he would not be narcissistic enough to think that Yu Linglong had approached him because she was interested in him. It was more likely out of curiosity. "Brother Wu, you're too polite. I'm only letting you go because I'm confident." Lu Ming smiled. "By the way, Brother Lu, what's with the curse on your body?" Wu Zifeng changed the topic. Lu Ming knew that Wu Zifeng was asking about the nether dragon blood curse. However, the nether dragon blood curse was created by the Kongxian school's sect master. Lu Ming naturally could not reveal it. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. "I accidentally found it when I was exploring an ancient ruin. There was nothing strange about it, but I don't know why it acted up today." Lu Ming casually lied. "I see. Brother Lu, I feel that this curse is extremely evil. It's bad for you after a long time. You should think of a way to get rid of it," Wu Zifeng suggested. His expression was sincere, and it did not seem like he was putting on an act. "Thank you, Brother Wu, for your reminder," Lu Ming said. "Lu Ming, I feel that those nether dragons and dragon bone flowers are here for your curse. We should be careful in the future to avoid being surrounded," Yu Linglong said. "It's a pity that we're still too weak. Otherwise, we could kill a large number of nether dragons and obtain points." Lu Ming said. "That's right. Why didn't I think of that?" Yu Linglong's eyes lit up. "My cultivation has already reached the peak of the empty god realm. I didn't break through because I wanted to enter the nether dragon's secret territory. However, I can break through after entering this place. I can break through to the true god realm now. Once I reach the true god realm, it will be much easier to kill nether dragons. That's right. I can break through to the true god realm too." Wu Zifeng nodded. "All right, then we'll cultivate here for a while. After we break through, we'll go hunt nether dragons." Lu Ming's eyes also lit up. "All right, we'll work together. We'll split the beast cores and dragon bones equally," Yu Linglong said. The three of them discussed and started to cultivate. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng started to break through to the true God realm. On the other hand, Lu Ming began to cultivate in another direction. His cultivation had just broken through to level 5 empty God realm. It was basically impossible for him to break through in a short period of time. The only way he could increase his strength was through the divine skills and the battle word formula. Lu Ming realized that after the previous battle, not only had he broken through to the 9th layer crimson gold armor, but he had also made great progress in the 3 strikes of extinction and the battle word formula. Lu Ming felt that the battle word formula needed to be activated about 8 times to triple his combat strength. The success rate had increased to 1 in 8. The 3 strikes of extinction was not far from breaking through to the 2nd layer. It seemed like it could break through at any time. Lu Ming immediately focused on the 3 strikes of extinction. Indeed, half a month later, the 3 strikes of extinction successfully broke through and reached the 2nd layer. The 3 strikes of extinction had reached the 2nd layer, and its attack power had undoubtedly increased by a large margin. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, coupled with the 2nd layer of the 3 strikes of extinction, the 9th layer crimson gold armor, and the tripling of his combat strength, Lu Ming's strength would reach a shocking level. If he met Mad Dao again, he would be able to crush his opponent in one move if he went all out. At that moment, Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng's auras were getting stronger and stronger. Time flew by and another half a month passed. Boom, boom. Yu Linglong and Wu Zifeng's auras exploded at the same time. The two of them broke through to the true God realm at almost the same time. Baidu search Xing 81 Chinese network. No advertising message. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Immortal Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.